Everybody say, I'm not doing that anymore. Now I'm elevating. Now I'm making sure that I put the right food in my body, because every time I put the right food in my body, guess what happens to my mind? It's more positive. It's stronger. You ever ate so much food, all right? Let's take soul food, for example. I love me some soul food, y'all. Pass me a chicken wing with some lemon pepper on it, okay? All right? Or some spaghetti. My mom makes some of the best spaghetti, right? Or let me get those sweet potatoes. I'm actually the queen of making sweet potatoes. But listen, how do you feel after you eat that? How many people can agree that after you eat that, you feel just tired? Matter of fact, you even want to fall asleep. You may even happen to open up your jeans a little bit, give yourself some room. I've done that, right? Yes, even training, even being a fitness professional, I've done that. But what happens when you do that over and over and over again? Your mental, your mindset, you start feeling more and more down and out. You start feeling more and more depressed. You start feeling more and more tired, right? And your body is your kidneys are like, oh my gosh, Brittany, you got me working too hard. I'm over here doing jumping jacks, right? The pancreas is actually doing jumping jacks. Your goal, ladies, is to keep your blood sugar level on a straight line. On a straight line. And if you're not keeping that blood sugar on a straight line, guess what's happening? It goes up, it goes down. It goes up. Here's your blood sugar. It's on a straight line. Y'all follow me. Right? And then guess what? I ate that soul food. Blood sugar went up here. Now your pancreas is doing jumping jacks to bring that blood sugar back down to that straight line. Or look what happens next. I'm on this line here. I go all day without eating. Boom. Blood sugar goes down. Now I'm feeling lightheaded and dizzy. Now I feel like I'm about to pass out. Right? Look where my blood sugar is now. And then all of a sudden, when I do eat something, I feel so much better. Whew, thank you, Lord. And that blood sugar goes back on that straight line. Right? So if you're constantly not feeding your body, not fueling yourself up, and you're constantly eating more of foods that are constantly making you work harder, right? Instead of staying here, eating the best foods that God created, your emotions are going to be all over the place. You're going to feel like you're on a roller coaster. But our new posture up, next level us, now we're putting the right foods in our body for our nutrition, ladies. Now our mindset is strong. Now we're getting that workout in. Now everything around us feels good. Now we're at peace. Now our physical, our mental, and our spiritual is strong. Now abundance is all around us. Now not only are we setting goals, but we feel good. And every single goal that we get to, we're accomplishing it. It's happening. Every single day it's happening, ladies. All right? So I want you to keep that in mind. Don't stop. Don't stop believing in yourself. Don't stop trusting yourself. Don't stop posturing up to your next level self. It is powerful. It is magnetic when you stay strong. When you stay strong. I did it. You can do it too. That is how. I'll take Robbie for an example. One of my clients, she just turned 50 a few months ago. And before her 50th birthday, she told herself, this can't be life. This cannot be how turning 50 is going to feel, right? For her, she was going through menopause. Her hormones were imbalanced. She was going from doctor to doctor to try to figure out what was going on. And she contacted me. She said, Brittany, I see what you're posting. I actually really do want to get ready for a competition, for a figure competition. I want to take my body to that next level that I never seen before. I know that there's more, but I need that extra push. I need that help. That's where Robbie came to me, y'all, back in July. And she joined our Misfits, our transformation program that is training ladies, where I help you elevate and take your body to that next level. from your body struggles to your body goals. And in 4 months, do you know she changed her mindset? Do you know she started off very doubtful of what she can do? You know, with her hormones and the perimenopause that she was going through, she was like, no, I gotta do better. I want more. So she found a coach. She elevated. She started implementing these tools that I'm giving you right now. And do you know within those 4 months, her body changed. Her body changed, right? She literally prepared for her competition, her very first competition, ladies. In November, within 4 months, she stepped on that stage at 50 years old and took first place overall, not just first place in the novice division, meaning it's your first show, but she also took first place in the open division, meaning she competed amongst other ladies who weren't 50, who were also 40 and 30 years old. And she competed amongst other ladies who were also in the master division, meaning they were 40 and up. And do you know she won her pro card at her very first figure competition? Winning your pro card in the bodybuilding industry is like winning a gold medal in the Olympics. That can happen for you too. That can happen for you too. Mindset is everything, ladies. Mindset is everything, ladies. But do you know, when she was preparing for this show, every day she was looking in that mirror as she was working out, and she saw herself on stage. She saw herself on stage winning. Winning, ladies. That's exactly what you have to do right now. So I want you to ask yourself, what is it that I desire? What is it that I desire? I want you to say it over and over and over again. I want you to speak it over and over and over again. I want for you to embody it over and over and over again so it becomes you. It becomes you. It has to be belief behind it. You have to be able to be energetically behind what you desire. So if you use these 3 secrets, ladies, of evaluating your mindset, incorporating your fitness, getting your exercise in, putting the right foods in your body for nutrition, you're going to feel good. You're going to elevate that confidence. You're not going to be overwhelmed anymore, right? You're going to be owning who you are. You're going to be magnetic and powerful. That is how you posture up to your next level self. It's what I do, and I love it. I love it. So I invite every last one of you to come on board with us. Join these ladies who are also elevating and posturing up with their mental, with their physical, with their spiritual. We balance it all. We balance it all. So I challenge you today to see where you are, evaluate it. If you want more for yourself, know that it's coming. If you want more for yourself, it's here. All right? If you want more for yourself in your body goals, in your mental, on your jobs, in your personal life, in the relationship around you, what's going on, ladies, with your husband, with your significant other, with your children, with your family members, it's here. It's here. But you got to forgive. You have to forgive anybody or anything that's been pulling you and you're still thinking about it, right? Most importantly, forgive yourself today, ladies. When you posture up to your next level self, you have to forgive. Forgive yourself for all those negative thoughts you've been telling yourself. Forgive yourself for everything that you've been doing that's been stopping you from getting to your goals. And you tell yourself, you know what? Brittany, I love you. Insert your name. Insert your name. I'm saying Brittany. Brittany, I love you. I love you. I appreciate you. Start being kind to yourself. Start speaking kind thoughts to yourself. Start affirming yourself. So right now, ladies, let's declare. Repeat after me. I am strong. I am powerful. I can do anything. I am magnetic. I am bold. I am mighty. I am fly. I am a money magnet, right? I can do all things. Ladies, affirm yourself, declare it, Save these every single day. Put them on your sticky notes. All right? I'm super excited to have you on board with us. I can't wait to see you. I can't wait to work with you. If you are ready today, click the link below so you can join the team with us. Most importantly, use these tools every day, ladies. Use these tools and your mind, everything around you is going to shift. Everything around you is going to elevate and posture up. So I want you to lift that chin up. This is how we posture up. Lift that chin up, turn your head. Hey, all right? And posture up to your next level self. All right, I'll see you, ladies.
Change is the one thing that is constant. Whether it's gradual or happens suddenly, it's the one thing that we can depend on. And in this environment, we have all been battling some sort of change. But again, this is something that's not new, maybe to this magnitude, yes. But every day we're facing some degree of change in our lives. Moment to moment, change is happening. Well, the one thing that I find exciting is can I start over? I'm sorry.
Yes, ma'am, you can start over. Yeah, no, you can start over. I'll just cut that beginning out. So I'll mute myself again and then you can start, okay?
Okay, one second.
Okay.
That's what I get for having like 3 different openings in my head. And
oh, that's what it is.
I was like, whoa.
That's what it is.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna mute myself now.
You know, the one thing that we can definitely depend on, and that's change. Change is constant. It's all around us, even in its subtleties. Moment to moment, there is a difference that's always happening. We're always in a state of transitioning in one form or another. Whether you're looking at the seasons are changing, whether you're just looking at your life, breath to breath, moment to moment, it's always different than the last. Well, the one thing that I know we can all agree on is we have all been impacted by change recently. A dramatic change, actually. Whether it's in our business, in our lives, we're finding ourselves having to adjust, having to find a way to deal with this new way of living, this new way of doing business. Let me first starting off by introducing myself. I'm Luana Bradford, and I am the principal of the Bradford Group Consulting, as well as the Chief Operating Officer of the Bradford Group. And one of the things, along with all the titles that I hold, as far as strategic planner, financial analyst, consultant, the title that I love the most is change agent. And as a change agent, believe it or not, I thrive in environments of change because I love connecting the dots. I love seeing how pieces fit together. I love trying to find solutions, teaching others, including individuals and businesses, how to find the stepping stones when you first thought they were stumbling blocks. I look for the opportunities, even in the darkest hours. And what I found is lately, we've heard the term pivoting, changing. I like to call it repositioning to remain relevant. But one of the things that people tend to not realize, we know success leaves clues, but there is an art to the pivot. There is an equation, there is a formula to successfully pivot. The last thing you want to do is to see that change is happening. You're really not certain how it's going to cascade, but at the moment of change, you see everyone running left. And what do? You get it, you panic. You have the CLS, is what I like to call the chicken little syndrome. And suddenly you are running with the herd. You've got this herd mentality. And we find ourselves, even though we don't know where we're going, feeling a sense of comfort because we're surrounded by other people that are in the panic mode with us. We find that in that panic mode, somehow we're in that comfort zone. Well, I want to challenge you that whether you're dealing with change now, uncertainty now, or in the future, I want to give you some keys to consider as you move forward, especially in your business, so that you don't operate from a seat of fear, from a seat of being reactionary, but rather you're responding from a seat of clear, concise, conscious thinking, that you're very intentional and very deliberate in the direction that you're going. And some of you may say, well, Luana, that sounds good, but you don't understand. I've got to make a quick decision. Now, I'm not saying don't make a fast decision, but I'm saying make a decision based on being informed. Have all the pieces that you need, or at least most of them together, so that you'll be able to establish the plan that is best fit for you. The last thing that you want to do is jump on someone else's bandwagon. And 6, 7 months down the road, you realize, why am I here? How is this benefiting me? And, when we have invested time, money, and effort in someone else's lane, well, that's lost. We're not going to be able to get it back. So I want you to just pause for a minute, even in the state of change that you may be in, or that you will face in the future, because that's the one thing that's constant. You will face change. And I want you to ask yourself some questions. The first thing from your business lens is ask yourself, why do I need to pivot? Am I pivoting out of fear? Am I pivoting because I see everybody else running left and I think that maybe that's what I should do? Or am I pivoting from a known state? So there's key reasons that a business may pivot. One of the reasons may be, and it's not just, oh my gosh, my money, my cash flow just isn't there. There's a reason that's driving that. So maybe your clients don't have the means to do business with you any longer. So maybe their cash flow has stopped. Does that mean that you can no longer serve them? Sure you can. Maybe you develop a product that can still meet their needs, but it's at a lower price. Or perhaps you're pivoting because you want to introduce a new product and or service. So again, that's a new way of doing business. Often people are pivoting and they're doing wholesale changes from their dreams and passions. And the likelihood that you're going to be successful or even content and satisfied in that endeavor is going to be it's going to be slim to none. So you want to make sure that you stay true to your values, true to your passion. And the other thing you want to think about is sometimes it's a new market. So your products and services may be the exact same thing, but now you're tapping into a market that you didn't consider before. I'll give you an example. We look at the restaurant industry. They were one of the hardest hit industries with the pandemic, right? But what they did, many of them, when they didn't have any choice but to close their doors because of regulations, federal guidelines, state guidelines, they were creative and said, okay, I may not be able to have my patrons come in and sit down and have a meal, but who's to say that I can't still deliver a meal to them? So then in partnership with Uber Eats and your other food delivery services, many of these restaurateurs are still able to keep their doors open. So that's an example of pivoting. They still stay true to their lane. They're still in the food service industry, but they found a different way to deliver their food to their patrons. And then by partnering with Uber Eats, Grubhub, and others, now they have greater exposure. Now someone who may have never even thought about going to a particular restaurant and they're looking through their app and they see them pop up, it's like, oh, let me try them. So again, there's always opportunity in the chaos, in the change, in the confusion. So take time and ask yourself, why are you pivoting? Number two, when you identify your why, maybe your why is, I want to be able to reach clients in an innovative way. Another example would be those that are in event planning services. Suddenly it's like, okay, do I just stop doing events? No, I bring my events online, still providing the same service in a different way. Now, where I may have only been providing it locally, now I'm regional, perhaps national, or even global, because I chose to be innovative in how I delivered my business. So that would be your strategy. So when we're talking about your strategy helps you to determine what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, when you're going to do it, for whom you're going to do it, and specifically what you are going to do. You want to be very clear. Again, don't hook yourself up to someone else's wagon if you were not at the planning table understanding how they came up with the direction they came up with, because it may not be where you want to end up. Once you identify your strategy and you're very comfortable with that, and again, this could all happen within a day. This isn't months and months of planning. Once you identify your strategy, then you want to identify your measures of success. Because sometimes we may think it's a great strategy, but we may have to shift. We may have to change. So you have to determine when is it the time to, I like to say, cut bait, let it go and say, okay, I thought it was a good idea, but I don't want to invest too much of my time and money into it. Let me pull back. Let me go back to the drawing board and start with a new strategy, a new plan of action. So it's always very, very important to have those measures of success, because if you don't know where you're going, any road will lead you to wherever. It may not lead you to where you want to go. So you want to be very, very clear, very intentional, very deliberate in your direction and in mastering the pivot. Again, what I saw over the years in my business, 30 years of being in business, is there is truly an art to pivoting. And for me, I mentioned I was in the mortgage industry. 2007, 2008 wasn't pretty for me. I had to quickly pivot, or like I said, reposition to become relevant. Well, I could have wallowed like many of my peers did. I could have adopted the CLS, Chicken Little syndrome, and running around saying the sky is falling, and been in total panic syndrome. I could have just said, it's over and closed my doors. Or I could have done what I did and said, you know what, I'm going to pause. I'm going to assess what's going on, because I know there's always opportunity, even in the darkest hours, even when the storm is raging, there are always opportunities. Many multi-million-dollar businesses have been born out of adversity. So how can I survive? How can I position myself where people know what I do? And where we changed, where we pivoted, we're still in mortgages, but rather than being in the residential, that homeowner, we said, well, the market that hasn't been most hit has been the commercial side. So we're going to become the commercial experts. And thank God we did, because here we are, still here. We'll be celebrating our 15-year anniversary next month. And I'm so excited about that. So I come to you sharing with you the secrets of the pivot, because I've been there. I know what it's like to have to respond to change, but to respond so with a critical eye, to be able to be quick in making the decision that's best for you, to not follow the masses, to not have that herd mentality, to get away from the fear-based decision-making, and to empower yourself with the truth in knowing that you have a design genius and brilliance in you. And you were designed to touch only people that and provide services that only you can provide in the way that you can provide it. And you have to trust that. You have to have faith in that. And you have to hold on to your dream. and not be afraid of the pivot. Trust your instincts and know that success does leave clues. And when in doubt, find those who've been there, find those who have survived the tough times in business, and create a partnership. Ask for mentorship, ask for coaching to guide you as you navigate the waters. Because the 2007, 2008, LaWanna didn't do it on her own. LaWanna and LaWanna's team, along with other people who had survived some market ebbs and flows, guided me to success. So don't be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid to sit back and say, I don't know. Because sometimes we just don't know what we don't know. So with that, I want to say thank you so very much for joining me on this episode that I'm sharing about the secrets of the pivot. Again, success leaves clues. You can be successful. Don't lose hope. Hold on to your faith and believe in the dream that you have for yourself, and know that you will reach your brass ring. Again, I'm LaWanna Bradford, Chief Operating Officer of the Bradford Group, as well as Principal of the Bradford Group Consulting. Thank you so much for joining us. And I do have a special offer for you. So there is a link below that you can click on, and you will be able to hear one of my podcast interviews where I talk about how to use strategic planning to help better position yourself to remain relevant no matter what the industry is and no matter what the environment does. Thank you very much for joining.
I'm Karen Scott, motivational speaker based out of Norfolk, Virginia. And today we're going to talk about don't desecrate the temple. Don't desecrate the temple. Honor your body. I want to tell you a story about a famous Black woman. During this time, I love researching our heroes. And this Black woman, those of you from Texas, you probably already know her. She was the first Black woman in the House of Representatives, the first of many. And she accomplished so many great things. She was a dynamic speaker. She was dynamic during the Watergate scandal. She spoke many times at the Democratic National Convention. But in 1992, President Clinton was looking around for a Supreme Court nominee. And he really wanted this woman. But she had so many ailments. He thought better of it and said, I have to go with someone who's not so sickly. That woman was Barbara Jordan. 2 years later, in 1994, she died at the young age of 59. You know who took her spot? Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Ruth Bader Ginsburg was about 4 years older than Barbara Jordan, but because she was healthy, she could be nominated, and we know she served for almost 30 years. That tells you the difference in how you take care of your temple. And we want to have a better relationship with our temple, because you can have a great personality, you may have a great purpose, you're working in the community, you have your ministry, you have your vision, but if you're not here, if you're so sick, you can't perform at the optimal level. And so we really want to focus on not just our gift and our purpose and our mind, but our body. Not just our gifts, but the gift wrapping. And so I want to talk about, what do you see when you see in the mirror? You know, good self-esteem is not just for the younger women. We need it all the way through, okay? What is your relationship to you? Are you grateful for your body? Do you honor her? Do you treasure her? Or is she just something you have to bear? No. Everything about your body is on purpose. When Solomon was building the temple, he took such care in every detail, the different woods, the different fineries, the different linens, because it was special. It was important to him. And in that same vein, God, the universe, mother, whatever you call him or her, deposited that. He or she cared about every detail about your life. And just like the lion is designed for the specific goal he needs, and the giraffe is designed specifically for what he eats, so is everything about you on purpose for your purpose. Can you imagine if Michelle Obama was short? Can you imagine if Oprah Winfrey didn't have a weight problem? Part of what made Oprah Winfrey so relatable was that she was human, and she was honest about the fact that sometimes she likes potato chips. So everything about you, even the stuff you don't like, is on purpose for what God has in mind for you to do while you're here. So we must appreciate our body. Before I can tell you to get other people out of you, everybody who's showing up in your life is a reflection of what they think, is a reflection of what you think about you. Okay? Everybody showing up is a reflection of what you're seeing in the mirror, in the conversation you're having with yourself. So you got to get you together. You got to vibrate at a different level. You got to honor your body. You got to take it seriously. You got to go to the doctor. And I know we're conscious and we're nervous about the doctor. Medical science has used our body for just about everything we know about medical science. The black body has been used to learn about different conditions, okay, from everything. And so we're cautious, but we have to be more vigilant about how we take care of our bodies, because like I said, try and function in your gift without your hands, your eyes, your mouth, your chest. Everything's important. I want you also not only to honor your body, but enjoy being pretty. Pretty is not just for the white women or for the Asian women or for the Hispanic, it's for Black women as well. Enjoy your pretty and use your pretty to your advantage. God looks on the inside, but God looks on the inside, but man looks on the outside. Okay? We know this. You doll yourself up, you get yourself to the size you want. You have the confidence, which comes from my first point, to honor your body, and you watch what doors open up. Okay, this is why when we go on the interviews, we get all dolled up and stuff, because looks matter. Looks matter. No longer are we hiding behind clothes because other people have issues with their sexual urges. No, stop hiding behind these big glasses. Make sure you find a hairstyle that flatters your face. And don't listen to those people who say you can't wear certain things because you're too old, you're too young, you're too dark, you're too light. Those people have to go. And that leads me to my second point. Let go of the loiterers. There's too many people in your life who like your gift, but not your gift wrapping. They have to realize that you're a package deal. You're a package deal. And if they don't honor your body, and as well as all the stuff that comes out of you that makes you even more beautiful, then they must go. Let go of the loiterers in your life. They waste your time. Have you ever seen a beautiful mosque or a beautiful synagogue or a beautiful church, and there's people outside holding up the corner? They don't even know. They're not even aware of the majesty that they're sitting and standing in front of. And so many people in your life are like that. They're just wasting your time. They're wasting your space. Those colorists, those ages, those fat-phobic people, they meant what they said. It wasn't a joke. They meant what they said. Stop ignoring and stop allowing people to disrespect you because of whatever hang up they have. Okay? Remove people from your life who drain you. When Solomon's temple was desecrated, they gutted it. They took out all the good stuff in the inside, and then they demolished it. And some people are in your life just like that. They suck and pull, and they drain you dry. And so especially those of us who are leaders, people call upon us because we are good at what we do. We're passionate about what we do. We do it with a ready spirit. We're so resourceful. We know who to contact. But sometimes you got to tell people, no, I need to spend time with my family. No, I need to be more restrictive in this pandemic. We're not out the woods yet. We got to preserve ourselves. And how many times on social media people brag that they wouldn't get COVID and ended up getting COVID? Be obedient. You can't operate in your purpose dead or in the hospital. And those of us who've ever been sick and been on our back for a little while, we take our bodies even more seriously. Health is wealth. Health is wealth. Remove those people. And sometimes the people in your life who drain you are your children. It's okay to say, wait a second, I can't raise another generation of children. You're going to have to take care of your own. It's okay. They can handle it. Okay. It's okay to let other people, it's okay to delegate, leaders. It's okay to let others have some buy-in on the process, on what you're trying to do. Be careful of those people who drain you. They just take and they don't reciprocate because they think you're the strong Black woman. No. We're going to put down that cape so we can live because it's killing us. Barbara Jordan, she first was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, and then she was diagnosed with leukemia, and then she eventually died of pneumonia. You see, and multiple sclerosis is connected to chronic amounts of stress. You can imagine being the first. It must have been such a heavy weight on her. It must have been such a heavy weight. So be careful of the stress in your life because it shows up in your body. Leukemia is cancer. Cancer is connected to secrets. That's why a lot of families have cancer in the blood because nobody want to talk about what needs to be talked about. Okay? So you must be conscious of even the body-mind connection. Okay? That's very important. Protect your eyes. Protect your eyes. I lived in Philadelphia, and whenever one of the vandals, one of those people who didn't honor the church, the mosque, the synagogue, they would throw rocks to gain entry. Okay, to go in, rob the church, and come on out. And I want to tell you to protect your eyes. The eyes are the windows to the soul. They will throw rocks into the windows. Okay, so I want you to protect your eyes. Not everything on YouTube, not everything on Netflix is something you need to be consuming. You are what you eat, ma'am. You are what you eat. And if what you're eating in terms of the media that you're consuming, if it's toxic, if it's not in alignment with what you think about you, and maybe that's the problem, you need to raise your idea about what you believe about yourself and what you deserve and your worth and all that stuff, then you need to cut it off. It's toxic. And I know people sometimes can be attracted to the car wreck. We are attracted to the train wreck, but that stuff gets in your psyche. And you think you can put it off and compartmentalize, but you can't. You are what you eat. So be careful what you're consuming, what you're reading, what you're studying, who you're following. All that stuff is important. Protect your eyes because that's your vision. Come on, we're leaders. We got to protect our vision. Secure your windows. Blemishes represent life. Dead people don't get wrinkles. Dead people don't have cellulite. They don't have stretch marks. They don't have moles. Dead people don't have those problems. Only the living. So make peace with all of the blemishes. Make peace with all of the blemishes because that means you live long enough to have gray hair. You live long enough for this to even be a problem in the first place. Appreciate your blemishes. That you live long enough to see it heal and cure and all that stuff. That this is even an issue in the first place. These blemishes, all of those little parts of you, they're connected to your wisdom. And if you were to cover it up or remove it, if you didn't go through what you went through, you would not be as wise as you are. You would not be as astute as you are because those seasons of your life taught you how to pray, taught you how to study, taught you how to budget your money, taught you about friendship, taught you about love. Those blemishes are connected to who you are. Okay? So don't be even more harder on yourself. And hey, whatever you want to do to enhance your body, we don't enhance our body to fix it. we enhance it to maintain it, just like our homes. There's nothing wrong with it. It's because we value our bodies that we take it seriously and we want to enhance it. So those blemishes, if we desire to remove or correct, but still make peace with that, because that stretch mark meant you brought forth life. Those glasses meant that you did a lot of reading and a lot of studying. So don't beat yourself over the blemishes, over the seasons of life that you're going through, because only the living have those problems. And so for all of those blemishes, for those days when you're not feeling so good, you're not feeling so high. And some days you have this great self-esteem and you're like, yes, thank you, Lord. But those days when you're not feeling so hot, and maybe your body has taken a beat and maybe you've not been so good. You have a limit because you have diabetes or you have blood pressure and you went a little crazy this week or in this pandemic. Forgive yourself. So much of what we experience in life is a reflection of our anger towards ourselves. Forgive yourself for being human, okay? And then when those days when your body, you're not feeling so great because you gained a little or lost a little or hair's falling, life is happening. The least you can do is say thank you. Because your body, I say every woman needs to name her body. Your body has been there with you through everything. Even the stuff you can't tell nobody about. She's been there. She knows the secrets. She knows where the bodies have been buried. She knows it all. And she's been with you on the short nights, the long nights, the good days, the bad days, the weddings, the divorces, the births and the deaths. She's carried you through it all. So the least you can do, if you can't say I'm pretty today, we all have those moments. We all sometimes can get in the funk, but don't let the funk be just your existence. You start appreciating your body. You start saying thank you to your body. And you watch some of the ailments you have, your body will start cooperating with you. Your body will start cooperating with you once you tell it thank you. If you can't be a cheerleader all the time, you can at least say thank you, homegirl. Thank you. Thank you, body, for carrying me through it all. When I didn't want to go through, and sometimes I tried to kill myself, and you as my body, you protected me. You allowed me to throw up those substances. You allowed me to release those toxins, and I'm still here because you believed in me. So say thank you to your body for the fact that for its faithfulness. You may not like it, but she's been with you the whole time. She's been rocking with you the whole time. If that ain't enough to honor her, okay, I don't know what is. So just like I want you to say thank you to your body, and thank you to the universe, the creator, the creatress, whoever you believe in. I don't want to alienate anybody who's not of the Christian faith. You can say thank you to your body, and thank you to the universe for giving your body the purpose. And when I say everything about you, your height, your weight, your eye color, everything, your breast size, your physique is on purpose for your purpose. You learn your purpose and it'll all make sense. It'll all make sense. So thank you for allowing me to be a part of this conference. I am having the time of my life in this conference, and I thank you for having me. You can find me at KarenScottSpeaks.com, KarenScottSpeaks.com, no dashes, no periods, and to keep it easy, KarenScottSpeaks@gmail.com. Don't desecrate the temple, honor your body.
They've called me bitch, whore, hoe, slut, dyke, butch, tomboy, runner, buster, your crazy ass baby's mama, fat, obese, chubby, skinny, anorexic, ugly, thick chick, trick, tramp, and prostitute, only to stare in awe, amazed at hips that spread centuries to transport God from heaven to earth. Peep my full figure lips. The last person who used them said, let there be light, so naturally I'm a divine go-getter. I'm the reason streets be paved with gold. I turn the hood into glitter. I'm a woman, a black woman. Before Jesus died on the cross, he sat 9 months in my womb, skin like bronze, hair like sheep wool. Jesus take after his mama. Before noble Jew Ali conversed with the Lord, he got his nourishment from my umbilical cord. I gave birth to Marcus Garvey to make Malcolm X's blueprint to build a bigger movement. I was created in the image of God, and I got the titties to prove it. I ordered the moon to give birth to the stars, so the sun to align them. Your brain power ain't got the strength to comprehend my assignments. When I laid a label with Jupiter, I spit out Pluto just so I can confuse all the sciences. I'm a woman, a mastermind who you undermine, which is natural since your mind is undermined. I'm undefined, mother of earth, sister of a universe that took centuries to create. Once I went to Saturn just to give birth to Saturday, a woman, a written legacy liberated by a heart beating the Congo drum. A psychic read my palm, found the book of Psalms, tangled in Solomon songs, covered in scriptures of the Quran. You know I cycle generations every 28 days. I got saviors waiting in my fallopian tube for their turn to surface. I am the church and the mosque and the trap house. My Lord self to build those builders. God say my needs will be met, so I'm never hungry, I'm never thirsty. I was built with my own milk. If I say it, then it will manifest. When I gave birth to the son, I gave him his own day to put the week to rest, so every Sunday the week would rest. I'm a woman storing stories of stories in my bras. You know, the closest thing I've ever been to failure was when I gave birth to Fall, a woman, descended of a field Negro, the caged bird who sang, so I put locks in my head to remember those chains. What you know about a woman, a black woman to be exact. Didn't y'all witness Katrina's impact? Random fact. Once I took a nap, I overslept, so time got pushed back an hour. I'm the power of angels, so I be chilling with my wings up. They told me I didn't have any taste, so I spit out 4 seasons just to spice things up. Let me tell you about this skin. This is chocolate covered coated moon. How many licks would it take to get to heaven? Reflection of the night light. Daytime didn't come from night light. Darkness don't give birth to light, right? So the very next time you decide to hold my equal pay, remember who holds your namesake. The woman, the original woman, from the motherland, Mother Nature, navigating national night storms, no GPS, just me on PMS. I'm a woman. You'll find God in my battle scars. You'll find God in my womb. You'll find God in all of my ruins. So you keep on waiting on your Savior, brother, and I'll continue to give birth to him.
Stacy.
Yeah. No, but it was like cut, you know, they say drop the mic, then after all of those things, drop the mic. But we just wanted to come back and make sure that you pick back up with us in After Dark. You can't miss After Dark, BlackWoman After Dark. So BlackWomanAfterDark.com is where you're going to go pick that back up. And I'm going to tell you one more again, make sure the kids are taken care of, dinner, bath, all the things that the man, the woman, whoever is taken care of, all the things, and that you've got your drink, that you've fed your belly, you've gone to the restroom, all of that, maybe even change clothes, right? Whether you wanted to dress up because it was after dark and you haven't been anywhere in a while, and you're entitled to that. Maybe you want to put a little something special on, put some makeup on, and, you know, feel like you're out. Or whether you want to wind down because you've been doing all the things with the kids and the family on top of your business during the day, and you just want to sit back, kick back with a glass of wine and just listen and be part of the experience. So we'll see you back here this evening for Black Woman After Dark.
Hi, this is Tony Harris Taylor with Drastic Results Marketing and Sales Coaching. I'm so excited to be a part of the BlackWoman Confidential project, and I am ready to share with you strategies that you need to be able to create a six-figure business and beyond. I love my own quote. Successful people take drastic steps to get drastic results, period. That's how we would say it, period. Right? So let's talk about some of those drastic results. Before I get into that, who am I? And why should I be talking to you? I'm an international networker, an international speaker, network and action community builder. I bought a networking franchise to bring business owners together, to build relationships, to bring more referrals. I'm a marketing and sales coach. I am a TV talk show host, small business talk show host, author of 5 business books, and I have run multiple six-figure businesses. But let me tell you who I really am. I am an overcomer. I'm a 2-time widow. Now, listen, I am a Black widow, not the Black widow. I promise I do not kill husbands. I've lost over 90 pounds twice. Yeah, it was so much fun. I had to gain all the weight back and do it again. Started college at 43 years old to get both my bachelor's and my master's degree. And in 2014, I survived a 10-day coma. So, what does that really mean? It means that I am a drastic stepper. And guess what, ladies? So are you. You've all overcome obstacles. You've taken drastic steps. You may not have called it that, but you have kept moving forward to be here today. And for that, I want to say congratulations. Now, let's talk about business. Here's the problem. You have all the talents, all the gifts and skills, all of the experience, the education, but you are still invisible to your ideal prospects and target audience. And you know you are ready for a change. You know that you are undercharging. Your products are underdeveloped. You know that you are underachieving, and you know you're ready to take drastic steps. And you know that without those steps, you will not be able to charge what you are worth and get to 6 figures and beyond. So before we go any further, I want to give you my gift. It is a video series, Networking Strategies to Turn Your Contacts to Contracts. You can pick up your phone right now, open a text message, put in the phone number 22828, type the word drastic, doesn't have to be in all caps, and hit send. It'll come back and ask you for your email address. Put in your email address, check it twice, and then you will get my video series, Networking Strategies to Turn Your Contacts to Contracts. So let's talk about the business failure rate. And unfortunately, these numbers are even more for Black women in business. But let's talk about business failure in the United States overall. The first year, 21.5% of businesses fail. The second year, 30% fail. The 5th year, 50%. And the 10th year, 70%. That means 3 out of 10 businesses make it. I believe that most businesses fail because they do not have a marketing and sales plan. They neglect the marketing and sales. I'm here to fix that, especially for Black women-owned businesses. So this message is for you if you've tried all the coaches before and you got nowhere. You bought programs and they didn't work. You need help because you don't have time to do it all on your own, and you want to grow your business nationally and internationally. You are about to discover my proven strategies to drastically increase your visibility, your credibility, and your income. So listen, we got a short period of time. In fact, I only have 15 more minutes to tell you all that I can tell you in that short time. At the end, some of you are going to say, Tony, that was awesome. Yay, I'm good. Some of you are going to say, Tony, that was awesome. Yay, I need more help. And I'm going to tell you at the end how you can get that help. But for now, imagine what your business would look like if you could easily attract all the clients that you needed to fill your pipeline so you could close more sales. Think about that. Let's talk about the proven strategies to get you known, get you connected, and get paid. Let's go. So this is Val. Val is my client. She's Val Vick of ValVickCopywriting.com. I highly recommend Val. Val was a travel agent, and COVID, of course, shut her down. She became a certified copywriter, but then after getting her certification, she was like, what do I do next to bring business in? Let's go on Val's journey. First thing, when Val came to me, we started working together in December. First thing we had to do is lay her foundation. You don't build a house without a foundation. So we started working on her target market. You must have a target market. When you don't have a target market, it means that you have no direction. You don't know where you're going. You don't know where you're headed. You don't know who you're talking to. You're not focused and you're trying to serve too many people. In fact, if your target market has anybody, everybody, somebody, then it's nobody, and your business will not thrive. Think about it this way. Who does best, a general practitioner or someone who has a specialty, heart surgeon? He may know all the anatomy of the body, but you cannot go ask a heart surgeon about a foot problem. You want to make sure you're targeted. Then when you aren't targeted, your marketing material, your website, your social media, it's not talking to the specific people you want to help. Increase your confidence. You'll be able to move forward to serve your ideal clients when you have a target market. You'll be able to sell more at your price because you build relationships within that target market and you become the expert to your target market. So having a target market is critical to all of the marketing and sales strategies, knowing who you're talking to. So after Val started working with me, we came up with her target market. She currently serves small business owners who want to be consistent with their marketing and newsletters. She prefers businesses that are heart-centered, and her clients want more time, money, and consistency in staying connected to their clients and prospects. Okay, strategy number 2. Now we have the foundation. You need to know how to network in that target market. And networking is more than just attending events. When you don't know how to network, you are unknown. You waste time and money, and you get very few referrals. Why is networking important? First, networking in the right places gets you in front of your ideal prospects. It gets you connected to the right people, and Relationships lead to referrals and when you are networking. But it is more than just coming to an event. You have to show up, which is first, and now we're doing it virtually. So turning your camera on, engaging with people, being prepared is critical to networking now in virtual world. You have to be up, you have to follow up to blow up. Show up, be up, follow up to blow up. So Val's networking results. She shows up at every event. I'm like, how do you do it, Val? You're at everything that I have, everything I invite you to. She engages and connects with all the attendees, the ones that are right for her. She follows through and has consistent one-to-ones with people. And she gives before she receives. It really is the formula for networking, and it works. Strategy number 3, speak more to sell more. So speaking is another great way to get connected to your ideal audience, your target market. Now, I don't teach cold calling, and I know most of you don't want to do cold calling. You hate it. The thought of it makes you just like cringe. So speaking is a wonderful way for you to find the right clients. So without speaking, you're typically invisible. You have no credibility and you feel salesy. And women struggle a lot with that whole salesy thing. And I don't want to be a salesperson. We'll deal with that when we coach together. But why is speaking important? It gives you instant credibility. I'm speaking on this program. The organizers thought I had a message that was good enough to share. So I get instant credibility because I am affiliated with the organizer. I get to educate without being salesy. So you can edu-sell, if you will. Now, you got to be careful because you don't want to talk too much and give too much away. So there is a specific formula to speaking so that you are not coming across salesy, but you're not giving away too much either. You get to turn your mess into your message, and we all have messes that people can relate to, identify with, and you get to turn that into your message so that the audience is attracted to you, and you become the go-to expert. When you're sharing tips and techniques that make sense to the audience, they're like, she knows what she's talking about. I want to work with her. So where can you speak? You can speak at organizations and associations, local networking groups, conferences, videos, doing lives, doing a video channel. That is another form of speaking. Podcast guests. You can be a guest on someone else's podcast. They've already pulled the audience together for you. So then their audience is then attracted to you. And again, it's instant credibility because they trust that podcast host. And then radio interviews. That's just to name a few areas where you can speak. So here's a speaking tip. You have to have a signature talk that helps the audience see they need you. It's a specific formula. I teach my clients that formula so that they are able to attract their ideal clients. So Val speaking, she's developed her signature talk. She has a sticky and attractive giveaway so that people are able to get on her list. Just like I had you text to join at the beginning, that's part of the strategy. She has the systems in place to get the interested leads and to be able to easily get them on her schedule and follow up. So what are Val's drastic results? Remember, Val had just got certified. She had 0 sales. She had no idea how to get her business out there, and we started coaching in December. Here's her results. 65 referrals. Now, I'm also known as the coach that connects. Now, I did not give her 65 referrals, But I promise you that I gave her at least a third of those referrals, and those referrals gave her more referrals. When you get good at networking, good at connecting and showing up, then people will continually give you referrals. She's created 4-figure offers. She's got contracts out. She's already been contracted for, out of those referrals, she's been contracted for several people. She's got $9,000 in outstanding proposals. She's got 22 written quotations. The list is long. She's been on my TV show. She's been on a radio show that I referred her to. She has been connected to a women's organization here in Houston through a referral. So Val is getting drastic results in 3 short months. Are you ready for drastic results? So what happens if you don't take these steps? Well, you'll stay invisible. You don't make the impact that you want. You don't make the income you want. You spend your life watching other people online live the life you wish, comparisonitis, and really you're not here for that. You are meant to do more, have more, be more, and earn 6 figures and more. So what do I have to offer? Well, if you feel like it's time to get drastic, we need to talk. I have a one-of-a-kind program for you to learn marketing, sales, branding, visibility, speaking, follow-up, technology, some systems to put in place to make it all easier for you. You already know what it feels like to get mediocre results. You already know what it feels like to have your bank account and it doesn't reflect what you deserve and who you actually are. And guess what? I know it. Why do I know it? Because I've been through it. And I had to buckle up, tighten up, and invest in myself in order to get over that hump. And you know you're ready for something drastic. So we're going to I've created a program that matches how you feel. So you're going to learn several strategies, and here's just a few. Personality-based sales approach. You're going to write a book. Yes, you are. You may already have a book, but you're going to get, those of you who don't have a book yet, we're going to get your book done and help you to get it done. You're going to be a part of my group mastermind. You're going to do goal setting, marketing planning, learn how to use social media to bring in and attract clients, email marketing, text message, overcome your objections in sales, and a whole lot more. You're going to love working with our program, especially if you're ready to take your business national and international. So if you're ready to have more clients and customers beating down your door, ready to have more speaking engagements that you have ever imagined, and you're ready for drastic results, then this may be the program for you. I want you to go to meetwithtonyharristaylor.com. Click book an appointment and choose Get to 6 Figures Now strategy call. Let's talk. Who knows? I may be able to help you get out of your comfort zone and do what you know you are ready to do to get out of your head, get into your heart, share your message with the world. You're sitting on gold, and the people that you are meant to serve are waiting on you. While you're thinking about getting ready, thinking about sales in your head, going through your own fear, the people that you're meant to serve are still waiting. Don't keep them waiting. Take the drastic step. Get with me today, schedule a consultation, and let me help you to get out of your comfort zone so you can serve the people that you're meant to serve. My name is Tony Harris Taylor, saying take a drastic step today for a fantastic tomorrow. I really appreciate you listening. Looking forward to working with you, and go ahead and follow through. Remember, successful people take drastic steps to get drastic results, period. Bye.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another amazing session of BlackWoman Confidential. Today's title, The Secret's Out, Women Are in Construction. Yay! And yes, I am one of those women in construction. My name is Jc Sykes, award-winning author, carpenter, founder, and executive director of Black Girls Build, Inc. What is Black Girls Build, Inc.? BGB brings boldness and authority to women and young girls by providing exposure and opportunity to the construction industry. Now, what exactly does that mean? Let's break that down just a little further. What BGB does is we provide hands-on DIY workshops that teach women and young girls the fundamentals of a variety of construction trades. I have partnered with some amazing women who do a great job, who are veterans in the construction world. And I know that that is something that's not at the norm for women right now, especially a Black woman. But we're here, we've been here, and we're here to stay. So, previous workshops have been very successful. Older women love it. I've had women as old as 60 in my workshops learning to do something themselves, learning to do something they can take and implement it, do it in their own homes, in their investment properties. These are some of the requests I get from women. I have had women that hit me up from all over. One of my biggest concerns when women started reaching out to me, when I started becoming a little bit more public what it is I do and reaching out to be that person, that advocate in the community of women in construction. So I've had a lot more women reach out to me in domestic situations, women needing to replace doors that have been kicked in by old boyfriends or ex-husbands, women that need to change locks and things like that, women who ultimately want to save their own lives and they just can't afford to pay a contractor to do it. So that was one thing that inspired me to help make a difference in some of these women's lives for whatever that reason is. I don't come from money, and I don't come from that successful background that led me to where I am. I created this path myself, and I've walked it alone all the way up until now. I've just for the first time in my life is actually building a work team that's working with me, and BGB is that work team that I have established, and I've got some heavy hitters on my team, some phenomenal Black women, amazing Black women, amazing Black men. I mean, where the queen is, the king isn't far. So that is something that is solid with me. It's 100% solid. Women in construction is not something against men in construction, especially Black men in construction, because from my own personal experience, after joining the construction union, the carpenters union, I learned that as hard as Black women have it, in a platform like the construction unions, Black men really do have it harder than Black women. There are no leadership opportunities for these men in these organizations. More Black men are laid off than any other ethnic group, and I've witnessed this myself. So the pervasive shortage of construction workers has led the industry to target women for recruitment. Most trades programs were taken out of school as early as the 1960s, resulting in a current decrease. From the 60s until now, that has resulted in the current decrease of awareness and recruitment struggles. These facts alone have slowly opened doors to women over the last 25 years. Women are not, according to Bureau of Statistics, women are not entering the trades originally as fast and aggressively as they thought they would. But we are noticing, we are out here, and a lot of us have entered the trades, and a lot of us have left the trades also because of the treatment. There is a certain tone that has not changed in over 100 to 200 years, and we are still fighting a fight that has never been stood up against, and that's women in construction. I mean, rightfully, right? This is the career predominantly known for men that has steadily declined as the world advances in technology and enabling less desire for physically demanding jobs. So basically that says, why would I want to go work construction, get my nails dirty, risk killing myself, risk having a worn out body when I can just stay at home and make $1 million by making a YouTube video or TikTok or something like that? That is the fight that we're fighting when it comes to recruitment for construction. No one has that desire to do physically demanding jobs. And let me tell you, working in the trades and construction is physically demanding, but it will help keep you in shape. So all of those women out there that's always worrying about, oh, I want to lose a couple pounds, but I like to eat. I am that woman. I am here. Transparency is my biggest. It's one thing that I'm proud of, because after you've been through so much in life, heartaches, pain, tears, everything that's created to bring you down and shut you down, when you overcome those things and you can sit and talk about them like I'm doing right now, you feel good. It's a relief. Now you're a witness. You have wisdom, and it is your duty. It is your obligation to give back when you've reached that point of knowing who you are, when you reach that point of accepting who you are, and no longer trying to fit into the standards of society. Everyone is not created to fit into the standard of society. I tried it. Yes, I've tried it again and again and again. And every time it was like, didn't I tell you this is not for you? And it wasn't. So now we'll go into the backstory about Jc Sykes. I am the youngest child. I've got 14 siblings, and I'm the youngest of those siblings. Brothers, sisters, you name it. I have a bunch of them, but still I had always been the youngest. I have one younger brother on my father's side. I love him to death. But so when you're the youngest, you get the privilege of seeing all the what not to do's early, right up front. And even though you see the what not to do's, it's really easy to still fall into those what not to do's, because kind of becomes second nature if that's if that's all you see and that's all you're around. So my family has a generational cycle of getting pregnant early, dropping out of school, and pretty much that being the rest of your life, right? Not for me. I didn't like it. I didn't like it, and I didn't want to be like it, so much so that I still did it. So I was pregnant by 15, married at 16. Yes, I was married at 16. I became a military wife, a mom, and an adult all in the same week. No, it was not my choice. I mean, it was something that at the time, of course, I'm a kid. I don't know any better. But during that time, that's not something you're a kid. You don't know any better. I became a military wife and mom. It was the biggest mistake of my life. I still feel the effects of it today. The scars are there. And although it's been 20 years since that happened, it is still very relevant in my life today, making those choices back then. So I'm a real huge advocate of, you can do things at a young age that will affect you for the rest of your life. So it's very important to be those positive leaders, to learn from mistakes and be the voice that you needed when you were young. And that is who Jc Sykes is, and I have trained myself to become someone that young women can talk to. I'm a certified life coach. I do mentoring. I offer mentorship. BGB will be offering mentorship programs. That is a part of our program. So not only will you learn how to do the fundamentals of whichever trade you decide to choose, you also get a 5-week mentorship from whichever instructor you choose to mentor you. And in the future, we would love to add an apprenticeship program where you will be able to get certifications directly from BGB and carry that throughout your career should you choose a career in the construction industry. So the projected goal for 2019 was a 3% construction industry growth to create 2 million new jobs by 2021. That didn't happen. Out of the 10 million construction workers nationwide, the 10% that are women. Of that 10% that are women, 2.5% actually work on job sites. The other 7% work in maintenance, transportation, and management positions. There is a huge gender gap. BGB would love to be a part of bridging that gender gap. There is a conscious biasness that some people would love to argue that is not conscious, it's unconscious. A lot of us know better. When you come from cultural diverse backgrounds, as I do, we know a language that other backgrounds do not know. We're raised with it, we live it, we feel the effects of it, we're tortured with it. You know, it's our life, it's our way, it's what we've always known. So there is a huge conscious bias and a gender gap in the construction industry. And we're trying to help bridge that gap, even if it's just a little bit. Every little bit counts. You got to start somewhere. So BGB is wanting to become a part of that bridging of the gap. And we're going to bridge that inadequate training that comes from the unions that people join to become construction workers. What did I learn when I was in the commercial or in the construction union? And it's not me trying to badmouth the union. You know, the union has done some phenomenal things for people. Great benefits, great pay. We have some of the best construction unions in the world that pay more than any other construction unions in the world. But you have to make it work for you. There is a lot of fine print in the union, but it's definitely a place that if you want to do something different, it's something to experience. And you definitely can get a lot of great, good things from the union. You can meet a lot of phenomenal people. You never know. And despite these barriers that have been created for women, we are breaking them because it is what we do. We are creating a path for ourselves in construction. Companies are looking to recruit more women to bring their skill sets into the field. According to Randstad, nearly 1/3 of companies promoted a woman to a senior position in 2017. So the time is now for women, not just in construction, in all things. The time is now for women, especially Black women. As a strong Black woman in my community and an asset to whatever it is that I'm a part of, strategically, having to work 10 times harder than anyone else that looks different than me, having to endure more hardships and struggles than anyone else who looks different than me, it creates a resilience, a perseverance over the misguidance that we've endured our whole lives. We are here. We have been here, and we're here to stay. There has never been a time in history for Black women to be great. Although we've always been great. There is nothing about us that is not great. Everything about us is great. We are the mother, the original. And without women, there would be no men for construction. So now is the time for us to do everything that we've always been said that's for a man. You can't do that. You shouldn't do that. Well, who said that we shouldn't? Because construction is a very lucrative career. Like I said, I've had the best of both worlds. I did the college thing. I went and all of that. had debt, still paying student loans right now, but getting into construction, it's debt free. You don't have to pay to be in construction. Going into a union to do construction, they pay for your schooling. You get on the job training, hands-on on the job training, and you get paid for it. You get some of the best benefits that you'll get anywhere when you join a union, the construction union. You get a pay that is unparalleled to most other businesses. And the other businesses you got to go to college for and have a degree. You don't have to have a degree for construction. If you decide to come shadow me for 1 week to pick up a few things that Jc Sykes does on a job site, I guarantee you could go start your own business by doing those very few things you've seen me do. Even if it's just build one thing. Starting a business is having a vision, executing your vision, and doing well at it. You can make 100 of something that I teach you how to make and sell it on Amazon. Now you've got you a business. And it works just like that. So learning skills is something no one can ever take from you. It guarantees you'll always have a job. You can teach this to your kids and grandkids. It'll guarantee that they'll have a job. You get the drift? That's a new generational cycle. So I'm a first generation carpenter in my family. I'm a first generation author in my family. I'm a first generation high school graduate in my family. I'm a first generation college graduate in my family. So breaking barriers is what I am here to do. It is what I am here to push other young women who are discouraged with the world and society looking down on them. Black Girls Build Inc., we push confidence. Because what you're doing with us when we're building those DIY workshops, those hands-on workshops, it builds confidence, self-esteem, self-reliance. It gives you everything you need that you're not getting from other places in the world, because this is something different. Our instructors all share the vision. We all share a lot of background. A lot of us are Black women. We are huge on diversity and inclusion, so we don't care what color you are. Take the workshop. If you're interested in being an instructor, let us know. It doesn't matter what color you are when it comes to construction. You're a woman is the number one problem. Being a woman has been the number one obstacle for us, period. And we're trying to change that. We are claiming the respect we deserve to provide the skills and hard work to a weakening industry. We deserve fair pay along with the courtesy of being women in construction. We deserve to have clean, available bathrooms to us on job sites. We deserve to have safety gear and clothes that fit us in construction. We are here in construction. We are not going anywhere, and we do a very good job in construction. Women tend to pay attention to detail different than men. It is our way. We are women. And plus, be honest, construction never looks so pretty. I mean, women in hard hats and tool belts, that is a beautiful thing, and I love to see it. I love to put on my tool belt. That's why I started this session with my hard hat on, because I'm going to put it back on. Yeah. We rocks in construction. So, I hope that today, during this session, you learned some things that you didn't know about construction. James Brown said it best in his song, "This Is a Man's World." He said, "This is a man's world, but it wouldn't be nothing without a woman or a girl." And Black Girls Build, or BGB, is here to do exactly that. We are here to show the world we're here and we can build. So you can go to the Black Girls Build Facebook page. That is BGB2 Inc. on Facebook. If you at BGB2, the number 2, and Inc., it pulls up Black Girls Build Inc. nonprofit organization page. You can find us on Twitter. You can find us on Instagram as well at bgb.inc on Instagram. If you want to email me personally, you can reach me at jcbgb2.org. That's the number 2, not the word. jc@bgb2.org. Again, I hope that you all enjoyed me speaking today. Lots to come from BGB. Lots to come to bridging that gap, that gender gap. Throwing the women into construction. Educating you all on lucrative careers that aren't known to us. We're here to invade construction. And we will work well with everyone else. Peace and love. Speak soon.
Hi, I'm Nanette Buchanan, and I consider myself blessed and somewhat successful. But what I want to talk to you today about is the secrets to success. I want to give you some, let's say, advice that I learned late in life. And if you can learn it early, it will do you a whole lot of justice. So let's look at success. What is the definition of success? The accomplishment, or the aim, or the purpose to gain that, attain prosperity, something favorable to the outcome or the result. 5 things that people look for in success is wisdom, and that comes from their faith or their knowledge. Somewhat romance, because everybody has to love what they do. And when you become successful, you begin to love that. Recognition, everybody wants to be recognized, and they want their awards and they want their compliments about what they do. And of course, you want that motivation to get more or to attain money. Your finances, you want that. And then last but not least, you want that self-preservation. You want to be able to maintain whatever it is that you've gained and have the chance to grow. Well, how do you do that? Well, I'm going to take you on a journey and tell you how I did it. And how I found out that along the way, you might need some help. How many of you love vacationing? You love going on a trip? Well, your life is a journey, and you're on that journey. And I'm going to take you to success by way of Purpose and Goal Boulevard, and we're going to take Highway 101 GPS. Now, everyone knows what a GPS does and how it does. But do you know that your GPS works even though you don't work it? And you probably are saying to yourself, no, that doesn't make sense. You've got to set it. You got to tell it where you want to go. Well, in your mind, you have your destination. You know where you want to go. But I'm here to tell you that you've got an internal GPS that steers you, detours you, and takes you other places. So before you go on the journey with me, I just need a checkoff list of some things that we're not going to take with us. So just like you're going on vacation, I want you to pack some things as you join me on this journey. I want you to know that we can't take any negative luggage, even if it's your attitude. And I want you to wipe your feet carefully, because sometimes we step in other people's mess and, well, you know, we bring that with us. So I don't want you to do that. So let me just tell you who we're going to pick up along the way to help. I want to remind you that you can get off at any stop. If this is not what you want to learn, if it's not what you want to know, and you don't want to know that secret to success, I want to remind you, you can get off. So we're going to pick up Miss Patience Daly. Although she nags, we have to put up with her. She has her reasons for nagging. Mr. Understanding, if we could get him first, we'd be able to deal with Miss Patience. Oh, and we always need to pick up Mr. Always Complaining. But today, we're not going to pick him up. He'll delay us and throw our schedule off. We need to get some support, and Miss Support has it. She's never understood why she has to sit in the front seat. So please don't sit there. There's a possibility that Miss Devotion and Mr. Commitment and the lovely Miss Motivation will join us when we stop for lunch. I heard someone left Miss Self-Doubt and Mr. Pity. Well, we don't want them riding with us anyway. And yeah, this destination, we go by way of Purpose and Gold Boulevard on Highway 101. And again, I'm going to tell you the secret to all of this is to bring your GPS. So we're going to have Miss Encouragement and Mr. Strength to step on. And I'm glad they brought Mr. Forever Grateful and Mr. Answer. They are here for our prayers. We need them along the way. And Miss Naysayer and Mr. Hater, we're not going to pick them up either. They got the wrong ticket, and I'm so glad they did. So now, buckle up and be ready. Let me explain to you why we need these things along the way. Our system is set up, or our journey is set up, or our life is set up with obstacles. And those people that we boarded on my journey, the people that came along with me, that list needs to go with you, because when you face those obstacles, you have to have knowledge and networking. You have to have time to spend to figure out some things and get some things right. And you also have to have an obligation. You have to know that along the way, finances and different things may be your obstacles. And you have to sustain all of that. So we needed those people to get on first so that we know what's going on. We have to have that. We also have to get over our fears, gossips, rumors, supporters and fans, family and friends. Oh yeah, they gossip and they rumor. And we don't always understand why, but it's the journey. And as we take that journey, we sometimes find ourselves alone in situations. We sometimes find ourselves failing and others walk away. So what do? Again, our strength is in us being devoted to what we need to do. And failure is not an option. We can't go on thinking that everything we're going to do, we're going to have that spot where we may fail and have the fear of failing stopping us from succeeding. So we don't want that either. And we have to reevaluate why we're here and what we're here for. Staying focused. That's another one of that spicy stuff. How do we stay focused? Everything around us is so different. People are doing what they want to do in the way that they want to do it. And how do we stay focused on anything? How do we keep our head up? Well, again, we've got the passengers on the bus. Look around. We've got support. We've got encouragement. We've got strength. We've got all of those things. So for us to stay positive and be determined and be persistent, I'm going to tell you these things. Take the this out of discourage. It's your courage that's going to get you through. Take the I'm out of impossible and always say to yourself, I'm possible. It's not impossible. It's I'm possible. And get yourself started. And don't take that doubt journey. Keep your eye on where you're going. And that's why you have that internal GPS. The GPS I keep talking about, the one you don't have to set, the one that you don't have to worry about whether it's on or not, because it is. Keep that GPS working. Recognize who you are. Do you know that you are worth whatever it is you're seeking? Do you know that others see it in you and they want to promote it for you? But you have to put it out there first. Speak it. Change the way you talk. Change what you do. Change your surroundings. Who are you with? Are you with people that are progressing, or are you with people that are staying where they are? Be uplifting to others. You'll find that in the uplifting of others, you uplift yourself. Root yourself in your vision. Take hold of what you want to do. Have belief, have faith, and reorganize your thoughts as you go on. Your vision is your dream. And if you ever stop dreaming, your GPS will guide you right back to that vision. Each step matters in your climb. The obstacles, the fears, the focus, the recognition, and the acceptance of who you are. And I had to learn this. I started out just like any other child. You know what they say? What do you want to be when you grow up? Well, I wanted to be a pediatrician, only to find out that my GPS said, no, you know you don't like blood. You know you don't like needles. You know you don't want to be there. But I automatically thought, hey, I'm going to be the doctor. The nurse gives out the needles. Why would I have to do it? No, the GPS went another way. I graduated from high school. I graduated from college, but I always wrote. I always was a writer. Writing little poems, writing children's stories, keeping them to myself, not realizing that one day this was going to be a part of my journey, a serious part of my journey. Didn't know it, but the GPS did. So as I ventured on and I went through several jobs, like most of us do, we just want to live for that next day. We want to live to make sure that we're secured. We want to accomplish a peaceful setting for us. No one likes the chaos of not being able to pay the bills or not being stable. And that's all I looked for, was stability. I got married, I had 2 children, and I had a good job. But there was more. There was more to it. I learned that I liked working with children. I learned that I liked being around others. And I learned that I liked speaking to groups. I learned that I could inspire people. I learned that I could motivate people. I learned that I could transform people. But my job wasn't connected to that. I went into state corrections. And in being in state corrections, I thought I would work with the youth that were falling between the cracks. I thought I could get them on the positive path because, you see, my past included me dealing with children. I had been a track coach. I had been a recreation director. So why not go into something more vital in their life? The GPS led me there. I got in. I became an officer. I became a sergeant. And I had to do more writing because I worked at the academy, training young adults to be recruits in the correctional field. I had to do research. I had to do more writing, but I enjoyed it because that's what I love doing. It wasn't until 2007, when my husband had a stroke, that I found that my writing could not only supplement my income, because he was not working at the time and was going to be on permanent disability, but it also would give him a meaning for him. And the meaning was to encourage me. I became an author. I now have 12 books written, following a GPS that detoured me. Well, that's not where my story ended. And that's not when I realized I was blessed and somewhat successful. Because I thought I had detoured way off the path. I thought that this is not what I started out doing. I'm satisfied, but this is not it. I found that I loved to write. 12 books in, you would think I do. I also found out that I could release children's stories. I could recite poetry. I could go on speaking engagements and speak and tell others how to be successful, because that's what I knew. Well, it came upon a time for me to retire. And I was happy about it because now I could plan just what I wanted to do. I knew where I was going and I understood what it was going to take. I didn't have any fears. There weren't many obstacles that I hadn't overcome. I'm going to retire full-time to writing, full-time to speaking, full-time to engaging with audiences. As I went to retire, and move to another state, I found that going through the doctors and making sure my medical records were up to date, I had cancer. Oh, that would knock anyone back. How am I going to do what I have to do? And what do I do about this cancer? And how am I going to live through this? What's going to happen now? Where is my dream? This obstacle I did not see. This obstacle, like other successes, was a surprise. But how am I going to hold my own? What am I going to do? Well, about 4 weeks into my radiation and chemo treatment, the lady asked me at the desk as I checked in, "You don't look like yourself. Are you okay?" And I smiled and I looked at her and I said, "Of course I'm okay. I didn't retire to this. This is not the end for me. I'm going to get through this and I'm going to continue on," not knowing that my GPS already had that in my destiny. That was already determined. Now, I know you're wondering by now, what does a GPS have to do with that? Well, the GPS is God's plan for success. There's one for you. There's one for everyone. All you have to do is stay on course. Remember, recognize who you are. Recognize everything you can about yourself, preservation, faith and knowledge. Love what you do and what others do for you. Give recognition where recognition is due, and you will be recognized. Money and profit will come. You don't have to worry about that because God will take care of you. God's plan for success took care of me, and it will take care of you. Thank you for being attentive, and I'd love to hear from you. Contact me at my Gmail, ipindesigns@gmail.com. Thank you.
Hello, I am so happy to be here today with you all for BlackWoman Confidential. It is an honor and a privilege to be here to share my story with you. Today, I'm going to talk to you about that secret sauce that we have. You probably know you already have it, but I want to help you leverage it to bigger and better things. My name is Nicole D. Vick. I am a public health professional with over 16 years experience working in public health for a large public health organization. I'm an educator. I teach college students about public health and social justice and have been doing that for the last 12 years. I'm a civic leader. I've been a commissioner at the city level. I sit on 3 boards of directors. I am a fashion and style influencer. I help plus size women feel good about their bodies and learn to shop on a budget and be stylish at the same time. And I'm an author. You know, us as Black women have this interesting experience in the workplace most of the time, where we are sort of in this double consciousness. We are in this state of duality, where we are forced to do things like code switch. And code switching is not just about language, it's about personality, how we speak, the tone of our voice. We often have to present ourselves in a way that is acceptable or appealing to who we're working with. We also face microaggressions in the workplace. I remember once, many years ago in my early public health career, someone making reference to Black hair as nappy. And let me tell you, that was the first time in my life where I felt a bolt of lightning shoot through my spine, because I said, something ain't right here with this conversation. Not only did it make me uncomfortable, I then had to take the responsibility of trying to educate this woman on why referring to Black people's hair as nappy was not acceptable. And the other thing that to me is really, really heartbreaking is
oftentimes we have to come to work and maintain the status quo, have a facade up, while the rest of our community is crumbling. And the most poignant example is what happened last summer with the killing of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery. And of course, on local levels, we also see that kind of issue happening in our communities. And sometimes we go to work and nobody's talking about it. We want to share or talk about the experience, and the only people at work that get it are people that look like you. And that can be cause a lot of anxiety, cause a lot of stress on our bodies. I want to share with you an interesting experience I had about that double consciousness, literally having one foot in one space and another foot in another space and trying to make sense of it all. A few years ago, I was at my job and there was a training on racial equity. So as I said before, I'm a public health professional, and public health is about prevention of disease and promotion of health in communities. And when we think about those things, we're thinking about social justice. And social justice is all about creating a world where everybody, not just some people, everybody has the same opportunity and access to resources to live their best life. So racial equity trainings aren't out of the ordinary for me in my profession. I'm sitting in this auditorium with about 100 people, mixed company, different levels of the organization. And the facilitator is doing what facilitators do, got the PowerPoint going, got the slides up. There was a slide that just boom, hit that screen. And it caused me so much stress, and it put me in a weird space. And it had such an impact on my life. I literally wrote a book about it. So let me tell you what the slide said, okay? The slide said, and I'm paraphrasing here, Blacks fail in every single system in society, every single one, okay? So let me give you some examples. Housing, we are overrepresented in the homeless population. Here where I live in Los Angeles, and I'm sure there are other parts of the country, same problem. We have issues with education. Our children, higher percentage of children not reading at grade level. We have high numbers of students dropping out of high school. We're overrepresented in the criminal justice system. The school to prison pipeline is a real thing. And then we also have issues with healthcare. Access to healthcare is a problem. And then when we can get to a doctor, we have to deal with implicit bias. And implicit bias is about a doctor maybe stereotyping, say, for instance, me, and deciding that I can't afford specialized care, so they don't recommend it. Or they decide that I don't understand my medical condition, so they don't care to share details. Those are all the things that were on that slide. And let me tell you, I was mad, sad, and angry all at the same time, all together. Thankfully, I was sitting next to a colleague of mine who I love and respect, and I was able to look at him, and you know how we do. I was able to have a full conversation with him just by looking at him, no words exchanged. And it really bothered me because, yes, I'm a professional and I understand why these things happen, the impact of racism on Black people in this country, but at the same time, I am a Black woman. So not only is this something I looked at from a professional point of view, but I personalized it. I immediately thought about my family, my mama, my daughter, all my friends, my community, the homies at the liquor store, everybody. Like these statistics really became personal and real for me. It was more than just numbers. They were people. I shared with a colleague of mine how I was feeling, and she said, I understand. She said, the problem is when they see numbers, we see faces. And she was right. So it was a really uncomfortable moment sitting in that space and that time. But I will have to admit to you, this wasn't the first time that I felt like I had my feet in two different spaces at once. 20-something years ago, I was an undergrad student at a prestigious, predominantly white institution. And I walked on that campus a teen mom. I was a statistic. I was the poster child of double consciousness / duality. Like, how am I at this predominantly white institution with all these students that come from money and wealth? And here I am from South Central Los Angeles with a baby, teen pregnancy, struggling to make it through. And it's just like, I've always felt that in my lifetime, I've had that double consciousness. And in some instances, I felt like it was a hindrance to me. So that was that work experience that caused me a lot of stress and strife. And add to that, the other things that we deal with as Black women in the workforce. If we speak up, if we push back, we are considered the angry Black woman. And you all know that that is a hard title to get rid of. And sometimes it causes us to be too quiet because we don't want to get labeled. And then they're wondering why you're not saying nothing. Then, if you want to bring something up that is specific and important to the Black community, you get the pushback. Why aren't you talking about the other community over there? They also have problems too. Why does it always have to be about Black people? Why can't we talk about other things? And then when you want to try to get help, support, something, some kind of backup, somebody to, help you out, oftentimes management who don't understand don't have anything to offer you in support. So not only are we stuck in this world of double consciousness, feet in two different worlds, we often don't get the support we need. And that is at the workplace. If you're a business owner, same thing applies. In the academic setting, same thing applies. So what does all that mean? What do we do with all of that we have to deal with? On top of being a mom or have a family and taking care of everyone else, having to deal with these other things, how do we leverage all of this into something greater, bigger, and better for us? That's where the secret sauce comes in. And again, as I said earlier, I know you know that you have it, but how do we take that and move it forward? I really feel like Black women have this uncanny ability to mix our lived experience, our academic experience, and our work experience into that secret sauce. That is Black girl magic. It cannot be duplicated. It cannot be taught. We literally have to live it and to work through it and to move through it. And that secret sauce gives us a few skills that we have that I would argue nobody else has. That's just me. First of all, we have this uncanny ability to connect with impacted communities, which often look like us. And I'm gonna give you an example. Let's go on back to the time when I was a teen mom. You cannot tell me, no one ever on this planet can tell me what it's like to be a teen mother. I was a teen mom. No one can tell me about the experience of living in South Central Los Angeles. Guess what? Because I live here. So that context that we have, that nuance that we have, the language, the ability to speak and relate is something that a lot of people don't have. And when you add that to that academic experience and that work experience, we can talk to people in ways that no one else can. I think that is a marvelous and amazing skill to have. The second one is the ability to speak truth to power. Now, it can be hard to do, scary to do. But I think, again, once you have lived through something and you have that contextual knowledge and understanding, it becomes easier to say, excuse me, this is not acceptable for my community. This is not acceptable for my family. And this is what we want to see done differently. I think of the women that started Black Lives Matter, right? Speaking truth to power, the people that pushed for more investigation into the murders of George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, things that happen at the local level where women have been able to stand up, even if they're afraid, and be able to speak truth to power. The other thing that we can do very well is create opportunities when none exist. We are masters of creating something out of nothing. And I know, if it hasn't been you, your mom or your grandma they know how to do it. And we have that skill. And it's very important, especially in the workplace and in business, when you're trying to create something, when you have no budget, no staff, but you need to get something done. We are the masters of creating something out of nothing. The other thing I think that is ultimately so very important for us is the ability to push boundaries, to push through. When there is someone telling you this cannot be done, and it's like, for real, let me show you how to do it. And we do it. I think that is just an amazing ability that I have personally witnessed my friends and family, Black women, do. The other thing, last but not least, is the ability to advocate, to speak for those who cannot speak for themselves. Who better to do that than someone that has often had their voice silenced over time? If you have been, pushed down and pushed back and cannot speak forward for yourself, you are the best person to go forward and advocate for others. And so all of those wonderful skills are part of that secret sauce that I just talked about, that uncanny ability to make things happen when oftentimes it doesn't even seem like there is a way to make it happen. So now that you hopefully realize and remember that you have the secret sauce, how do you leverage that into something bigger and better and greater for yourself, for your family, and for your community? There are a few things that I think would be really, really helpful. First of all, you have to know your worth. You have to know who you are. You have to know your story and be able to articulate it in a way that is compelling and can help someone else. Second of all, you have to share your story. I think a lot of us as Black women are so used to, we can't talk about that. That's not something we need to share with other people. Keep that to yourself. We have to share our stories and be willing to share them with other women. I can't tell you how many women would benefit from understanding your struggle, your success, your opportunities, the things that you have done. There are students, there are brand new working professionals, there are aspiring business owners, that would benefit from hearing your story. Gone are the days where we try to keep things to ourselves. Don't tell nobody this. We gotta be open and share. I can't tell you how many times I have shared my stories of struggle being a teen mom and success. And people have said, you know what? I felt like I was the only one that felt that way. I am glad you shared, because now I know I'm not alone. Now I know that there is a light at the end of this tunnel. And now I understand my purpose in life. The next one to me is non-negotiable. Non-negotiable. You have to lift as you climb. Yes, we are driven. We are passionate. We want to push through, move forward in life. We cannot forget the young women behind us that need to a leg up, that need advice, that need encouragement. It is not optional. It is your responsibility and your obligation to make sure the next generation is prepared to lead. And the only way to do that is to create opportunities for them and to always be looking out for them. And it doesn't matter what setting we're talking about. I have been in a position to help people get hired, mentor women that need help with a job application. And it's really important to do that, to me, primarily because someone did it for me. Someone gave me a tidbit of information, said, go back to school, your salary will increase, you'll be able to take care of your family. I didn't want to do it. That's 2 more years of school. Who got time for that? I did it, and the woman was right. So just as someone has taken the time to help me along, I have to help others. Again, this is not optional. As far as I'm concerned, it is not an option. You have to do this. This is for our livelihood and for our next generation to succeed. For me, my responsibility to lift as I climb is for young students and entry-level public health professionals that are Black and are women. The last thing I'll say that is really, really very important as well is to create community where you are, where you stand right now. You do not have to wait for someone to tell you to do it. You do not have to have $1 million to do it. You can do it with what you have, where you stand in this moment right now. I'll give you an example. So earlier I said I was a fashion style influencer. I love clothes. I love jewelry. I love nail polish. I do all these things. And some years ago, I had met a wonderful young woman that is a fashion designer, independent fashion designer. And I was at an event called Head Wraps in the Park. This is in Los Angeles, down here, downtown LA. And it's filled with all these wonderful business owners, these vendors selling beautiful things. They're all Black. And I was like, I wish I could do something at that level. This is amazing. I can't believe this. How can I get involved? How can I help? And I had a conversation with the clothing designer, and she said, I did something really similar on a very small scale during the holidays. And I would charge all my business owner friends a small fee. They would come bring their things to sell. I would invite all my friends, and we would have a holiday pop-up shop. And it sounded so simple to me, and I didn't think hard about it. I didn't think twice. I said, I'm gonna do it too. And for the last 3 years, I've been holding pop-up shops in my backyard. And that is my way to create community, for one, also to promote and support Black women business owners, too, and also to create economic opportunity here in South Central Los Angeles. If we can recycle our dollars in our community, that benefits us. We don't need to shop outside of our neighborhoods. We have people here that are wonderful craftswomen, that make wonderful gifts that are high quality. We need to spend our money in our neighborhoods. So that's my way of creating community, where I stand with no money and no one had to tell me to do it. So think about what skills you have, what opportunities you can provide for someone, what resources you can share, and leverage them to create opportunity for other women. I hope this talk was inspirational to you. I so enjoyed sharing my story. I hope to connect with you all at some point. My contact information is below. I look forward to seeing you, and please continue to enjoy the conference. Thank you.
Hello, hello, hello. I am Vanessa Davis, and I am your identity statement queen. I'm going to help you create your identity statement. Why? Because it's part of this talk. Stolen identity, the secret to creating your own identity statement. You know, there's all kinds of statements out there. There's your mission statement, your purpose statement, but have you ever created your own individualized identity statement? So I'm going to ask you a question. If I ask you this question, when I ask you this question, I want you to just think of what comes to your mind. What would you say? And then I'm going to come back and we're going to talk about that. So the question is this: who are you? Who are you? So with that question, what I know has happened, some people will say, well, what exactly do you mean by that question? That's a cool question. That's good. Some people would give their name. Some people will give a position, like a career. And some people will give a title, like doctor or pastor. And some people will give a role that they play, like mom or wife. So I found this to be something very interesting. Starting in 2018, I went through a whole year of identity. I had no clue. I thought that I really knew who I was, but apparently there was this area of me that I didn't know. And it's a three-part put together. So spirit, soul, body. And so for me, for many years, when people would ask me, you know, who are you? I would say I'm a registered nurse. Or who are you? I'm an emotional freedom coach. Or who are you? I would say a mom. I would say a wife. I would always give myself a role or a title when someone asked me who I am. So I want to help us understand that in our identity, when I say stolen identity, I mean that. I mean that because when we came into this world without even knowing who we were, and as we grew, we were already created to be. And so many times with life, starting from home and then school and then outside sources, everything that we know we are starts to get kind of molded in a way that is outside of us to make other people comfortable, to make our parents feel safe, and to make our parents not look bad. And also because our parents love us, they don't want us to go through certain things. Or if our parents weren't able to represent themselves physically being there, that also makes us believe things about ourselves that are not necessarily true. So what I want to do today is just break down to you what I experienced in 2018. So in 2018, the movie Black Panther comes out. And when the movie comes out, I am just I don't know what happened to me. Like I went into wearing my hair natural. I was just so excited with being this Black woman, more excited than I had ever been. I grew up in a predominantly white area, so I was a minority for being Black. And then I also grew up as a pastor's daughter. So, you know how that goes. Any of you that are pastor's daughters or pastor's kids. I grew up under this umbrella of, being a pastor's daughter, and with a lot of strict structures and things like that, and expectations from people that I was supposed to be a certain way. I was supposed to act a certain way, even within the church. And then on top of that, where I grew up with one brother, but there were 3 other boys that lived down the road that I played with. And so in my life, I felt like I was a minority because I was Black in an all white area. I felt like I was a minority because I was a pastor's daughter in what I felt wasn't a spiritual area or group of people. And then I also felt like I was a minority because I was a girl just around a lot of boys. So in me, I felt like I just was not big enough, but in me, I felt big. You know what I mean? So I always needed to prove myself, and always needed to show that I was strong and that I could do this and could do that. And so when 2018 came and Black Panther showed up, something happened in me. I really embraced being a Black woman. Not that I didn't know that I hadn't before, but it's, how when you don't know something until you experience it, then you realize, wow, I thought I was this, but I really wasn't. Well, that's what I was. So I just embraced being this Black woman. I embraced Blackness like I had never embraced it before. And I really enjoyed just being happy and whole with being Black, and also being a Black woman. So during that time frame, I also was on this spiritual journey, and I went through this whole restored experience. That's when I just want to say experience, where I really came to grips with my spirituality and how I saw God. And I'm going to explain that more later. But then I also learned that my wiring and how I was put together was on purpose. Now, I'm not talking about like having an attitude or being angry or being, aggressive. I don't mean that. I mean the actual wiring of who I am. And so when I put all those together, I was able to come up with an identity statement that covered me, spirit, soul, and body. And that's what I want to do with you. So when we look at spiritual, I'm not going to push anything on anybody, but I'm just going to tell you what it was for me. For spiritual, when we look at ourselves, let me go back. If I just say, I'm a Black woman, I'm only speaking physical. I've left out the soul and I left out spiritual. If I say I'm a child of God, which is important, I'm just speaking spiritual though. I'm leaving out soul and I'm leaving out body. It's a 3-part makeup. So I'm only speaking 1/3. If I say, oh, I am so funny, well, I'm speaking a soul makeup that was created before I ever got here. And that's still only 1/3. So we want to be all of them. So for the spiritual, I believe for me that there is a divine spirit of God. And my relationship with him, for me, is through Jesus Christ. So in order for you to create your own identity statement, what is your spiritual belief? I do believe for a complete identity statement, you have to believe that there's something higher than you. If you're just believing it's you, or you were made by an accident or evolved, that might be more challenging. But if you believe that there's something greater than you, that is your spiritual part of you. So take the time to really define that and understand what is that makes me who I am from a spiritual standpoint. Now, from a soul standpoint, soul is your temperament, how you were actually created, because that's what you were supposed to be created for and exactly like. And so what happens is, if you're a talkative person and you always had the gift of gab, and you were in school getting in trouble for talking, and people were like, you always talk too much, you need to be quiet. That happened to me. That you would tend to just try to mold yourself into that world that people try to make you mold yourself into. Also, if you just kind of were thinking all the time, and you squirrel moments, and just all over the place, just a lot of creative thoughts coming in at one time, and you couldn't keep on task for certain things, you may have been taught or scolded, or who knows what, to be formed like you need to be organized, you need to think like this, you need to not, like there's so many things that could have happened in that. For me, I told you, I grew up as a pastor's kid. So there were a lot of boundaries that I had that were safe, but there were also boundaries that really kept me, in bondage, really, because the way that I thought, and the way that my temperament was, and the way that I looked at things didn't match a lot of people that were around me, especially in the church. So what you can understand for me is that I was totally taught to become something that wasn't authentically me. So from a soul standpoint, how I go about looking at that is my temperament. How was I put together? And usually how we do that for me is finding, there's all those tests out there, right? You have many different tests that can give you your makeup. And for me, I will explain to you what I used, what I found to be the most helpful for me to understand my wiring. Okay. And then we have the physical. So for the physical, for me, I felt like when I made that identity statement, I wanted to be something that if you walked up and saw me right now, this is what you would say. Now we're on Zoom, we're on this video right now. And so you're not going to be able to see me fully as if you were to walk up on me. But from my identity statement, you will understand who I am. So I'm going to run down, I'm going to say my identity statement. It's what I say to myself all the time, because that's how I show up. And then I'm going to explain to you why your identity statement cannot be mom, a role, a title, a label. I'll explain to you why it just can't be that in order for you to walk in and be powerful and your authentic self. So my identity statement is this. I am a spiritual being, uniquely handcrafted and chosen by God to be loved and accepted as his beloved daughter through Jesus Christ. I'm having a human experience radiating his love and acceptance as an intuitively creative, passionate, enthusiastic, fun, and loving 5'1" Black female. Now that's who's showing up to you right now for this talk. That's who shows up as a registered nurse. That's who shows up as an emotional freedom coach. That's who shows up as a wife. That's who shows up as a mom. That's who shows up in all areas of my life. That's who's showing up. And that gives me freedom to just be her. Now, whenever I see things happening, like my attitude is not on point, or I'm quiet, I'm in a thinking moment, there are people that will say, Vanessa, that's not like you, which typically it's not. But there are times whenever I'm out of sorts because of something happening in my life, or something going on that I'm really in depth thinking about, or I'm hurt about. So, but it brings me back to who I am whenever I say that identity statement, because that's who I am when I'm being myself, being my authentic self. Whenever I'm letting other things in and causing me all kinds of grief and things like that, I might not look like that. So we have to deal with that. So I want to go back to spiritual. So for me, I believe in God and a relationship with God through Jesus. That's for me. but you have to determine what it is for you. When I start the statement of I am a spiritual being, you can pick your own words, but I say I am a spiritual being uniquely handcrafted and chosen by God. So that's where I start mine off, and I make it complete with I'm chosen by God to be loved and accepted as his beloved daughter through Jesus Christ. So that's mine. But I want you to take time out and write down from your spiritual being, what is that to you? Now, from the soul piece, this part, there's a book called Personality Plus. That book is what I used, not because it was just another test to take to try to get your wiring down. No, it's a book that also explains your wiring. Also, I mean, it's so good. It explains your wiring. And when you read it, you're like, yeah, that's me. And there's a test you take. Yes. But I also have done other tests, and it all really boils back down to that. But it's a very good book in explaining how you're wired, and not only your wiring, but other wirings and how it works relationally. So it's by Florence Latour. That's the book. So anyway, that book helped me understand my temperament. And there's 4 temperaments in that book. It's choleric, melancholy, sanguine, and phlegmatic. And for me, it boiled down to I'm a sanguine number 1, and then I'm a choleric number 2. So everybody has 2 temperaments, and usually there's one dominant and one secondary. That's usually how that works. So mine is, if fun is there, I'm coming. I'm not even trying to figure out how to get there. I'm not trying to figure out, I'm just going to be there. Like, I don't even need to know anything else. All my question is it going to be fun? Okay, then I'm coming. And then my second one is, get it done. Let's just get it done. Not thinking about anything else, but just let's get it done. Now, when I'm very passionate about something and needing to get it done, that's where that shows up. But usually in life, I'm about, is it fun? So there's strengths and there's weaknesses with each temperament. I did not include the weaknesses in my identity statement. I included the strengths. That's one thing that I did. But the other thing that I did is I took time out. I really felt like God led me to do this. Take time out and listen to what people say about you that's positive. And when I did that, I did it for a week. I wrote down each word that I would hear someone say, whether it was at work, at home, anywhere in my relationships. I would just listen to what people said. And I remember going into work one day, and one of the coworkers was like, "Oh, Vanessa, I'm so glad you're here. You just light up the room when you're here." And I'm like, really? Yes, we can just tell when you're not here, it's not the same. You bring a really positive energy. I'm like, okay. So I listened to different things that people said and wrote them all down. And then also looked at my strengths of my temperaments and wrote that down. Okay. So I did that. And then from the physical standpoint, I'm like, physically, what is it with me? What is it? What is it that I am not going to change? What is it I can't change? What is it? Who am I? And so for me, it was, I'm a woman. I am Black. And then I was like, what else can I change? And one of the things that I couldn't change was my height. By the way, I said 5'1". I did not call myself short, because I would only be short if I'm comparing myself to somebody who's tall. I'm 5'1". So if you were to come into my space and see me, you would see that I'm a certain height that's around that height. But for me, that was special. Why was that special? Because that was something that I was always, not put down about, but always felt insecure about, was my height. I was a volleyball player, and I was told many times that I wouldn't be tall enough to play that. I wouldn't be tall enough to make the team. And, I'm that type of person. You don't just tell me what I'm not going to be able to do. So I played volleyball with tall girls that were, different heights, taller than me, but I was able to show up even at 5'1". So for me, that was a real great embracing of being able to say I was 5'1". So with that being said, I simply loved being a Black woman that's 5'1". So when you're doing your identity statement, what are those characteristics about you that you can't change and that you can embrace? Because maybe that was something that you didn't embrace once upon a time. So once again, I'm going to say my identity statement for you, and I want you to just listen to it, take what you can from it, and use it for yourself. Because remember this, you are not what you have. You are not what you do. You are not what others think of you. You are not your circumstances. You are not your disease. You are not your diagnosis. You are not your perceived failure. Okay? You are a living, breathing spirit, soul, and body. And so therefore, that's why it's so important to create this statement. So I'm going to end this again with my identity statement so that it can help you create yours. I am a spiritual being, uniquely handcrafted and chosen by God to be loved and accepted as his beloved daughter through Jesus Christ. I'm having a human experience radiating his love and acceptance as an intuitively creative, passionate, enthusiastic, fun, and loving 5'1" Black female.
Hi, I am B. Jacqueline Jeter, and I am so thankful to ER for having this opportunity to speak here at BlackWoman Confidential Conference. I'm a transformational growth strategist and owner of Grow, Lead, and Prosper. And one of the things that I am passionate about is growth, right? And so I believe that growth in our individual lives, personally, professionally, and spiritually, is essential and helps us to rise to the challenge of everyday life. We cannot rise to the challenge of who we are or we're created to be if we were created to be phenomenal and absolutely brilliant if we're not growing. You may be wondering, how are you passionate about growth and you have the topic of quitting, the secret to true success? Well, if you lean in, I'll let you chat with me about it. If you've ever heard me speak on any stage, you may have heard me talk about my transition from what I thought was my penultimate company where I was going to retire and just fade into the sunset and whatnot. And, how that change was, that changed because of an everyday reorganization. That reorganization left me and a couple thousand of my colleagues on the other side of the welcome mat. Okay, what now? I'm in my mid-40s and I'm faced with starting over. I had been in this company over half my life. Thoughts of being too old or not enough and whatnot flooded my mind daily. What do? Do I stay in this arena that I love so much, or do I do something totally different, which I had no idea what would it be? Well, I did stay in that arena, but took some time off to kind of exhale and gather my thoughts. In the meantime of that transition, women with whom I had worked, but did not know that I had as a job development role, a job plus coach, they came to me asking me to help them to map out their next. They were confused. They were scared. Their life had been turned upside down. A lot of them had just sent kids off to school and now they had no job. One of them said something that continues to ring in my ears. And she said, I know you have a plan. I need you to help me to get one. Sis, little did she know, I did not have a plan. I was clueless of what I was going to do next. I was dumbfounded of what my life was going to look like going forward. I was scared. I was writhing my hands, rocking back and forth, losing sleep, scared. Yeah, that's how scared I was. To mitigate my fear of starting over, well, no one knew my name. No one knew my work ethic. No one knew my brilliance or my exemplary skill set. I looked at jobs that I knew I could totally outperform with little effort, and I got them, and I was crushing them. Honestly, the success I looked like I was having or experiencing was not true success. Why was that? Because I was not being sharpened or challenged. I was not being fully developed. I was not being expanded, and I was not growing. I was starring in my own time to make the donuts commercial. As I look back on the opportunities I did have, I'm very grateful for them because in that time, it provided me a purpose and it provided me a time to continually pay my bills and to meet those needs, those daily needs that I have. In a recent role at a company I was at, I remember getting up one day and I was like, I just cannot continue to stay in this space. There was nothing wrong with the company. There was nothing wrong with my job. People loved it. They had been there for years. And I knew that I was called to a different space. I was called back to that level of engagement that woke me up in the morning and put a pep in my step. You see, my motivation is not money. My motivation is true, meaningful work, like I'm making an impact in someone's life. It was evident for me at that time that I had to quit. So I started looking for different roles that were technically above where I was and above where I had been and when I was in my prime, so to speak. Some of them were good opportunities and some of them just weren't good fits. And so out of the blue, I came upon a role at a different company and I knew that it was going to be more intense than my current job. And that was okay with me. So I had to weigh, I'm in my 50s now. Do I want to go back to that fast-paced race, or do I just want to really just fade to black and keep the role that I have now and remain unfulfilled and unmotivated? I made the decision to quit. And in my quitting and taking that new job at a new company, 3 things were illuminated for me. And it made me think about the word quit even more. You see, a lot of times we look at the word quit, and instead of seeing the positives of it, we see everything negative. When someone says, oh, I quit doing this or I quit that, we immediately have that visceral response and psychological response that goes, oh, so they're a failure. They're weak. They couldn't handle the challenge. And I'm sure there were colleagues of mine who felt the same way. Because most often when there was a challenge, it was B. Jacqueline Jeter who took the lead and said, let's think about this critically, and let's map out a plan and get a strategy and have a resolution so we can conquer this issue. But I had lost my fight in that space. Not because it's because I wasn't where I was supposed to be. That's the main reason. I was not where I was supposed to be. I knew that I was holding on to this role of this old job because it was comfortable. But one thing was certain, I had to quit. I was losing myself. I was a shell of who I was, and I knew I had to make that change. Now, when you look up the word quit in Merriam-Webster, of course, you get the classic definitions that I mentioned before of someone who gives up. But there was one definition that stood out to me, and it was one that said, release. When I thought about that, some joy and peace came over my entire soul. I'm releasing this. I'm releasing this stop on the journey, and I'm grabbing hold of my new adventure. When I informed my coworkers that I was resigning, people were like, oh my God, you're quitting? No. I'm releasing. I'm letting go of that which no longer serves me. I'm letting go of that which is really blocking me from my getting to my next destination on this journey of life. So in this experience, I realized that there are 3 keys or secrets to quitting that lend to our success. Quitting has power, it has purpose, and it has provision. Thinking about that word, that term release, what was the power in my quitting? The power in my quitting actually happened way before I left that job. I had to do an inventory of how I got there in the first place. I had to revisit the spot where I decided it was okay for me to blend in. I had to quit thinking of less of myself, quit allowing my fear to control my movements, and I had to quit thinking that I was not enough. It was those actions that revved me back up to walk out of a job. Quitting gave me courage to really face and understand what it was that I really needed in my life. I quit before the job that I was going to and that I'm in now had even been confirmed. Anything could have happened. I could have not gotten the job and I would have been without one, but I knew I had to make a change. I just knew that I had to release myself from that low vibrational situation. The power I gained was in rediscovering my phenom, my skill sets that I had allowed to go dormant, and that courageous, confident spirit that once abounded. And most importantly, I empowered my mindset to shed thoughts of not being enough, of being too old, of no one knowing who I am, etc. Now let's pause for a second. Ask yourself, what do you need to quit? And what power will you gain from doing so? So I acknowledge my power in quitting or releasing that moment. Secondly, there was purpose in my quitting. The purpose of me quitting was to open me up again, to help me release and make ready and make room for what I really needed and truly created in my life. What I really was created to be in this world. A lot of times you see people saying, oh, I went to college here and I chose this college and I chose this degree and I chose this major because I was good at this. They were really not walking and moving in their purpose. They were moving in what someone else said they should be doing. I chose that former job because everyone said it's a great place to be. You're in your 50s. You can just, you ain't got to work hard. You even got to take your laptop home, girl. But I knew my purpose was not relegated to me wanting to be part of the pack. God didn't make me like that. And guess what? He didn't create you like that either. He made me to show up boldly. Same for you. He made me to show up and use the intellect and brilliance that he gave me to impact and to be influential in the spaces for which he has already opened up for me. He made me to be that red shirt in a sea of white ones, and I wasn't doing that. So I knew I just had to quit. Quitting was pushing me closer to my purpose. And when you quit, think about that. It'll push you closer to your purpose as well. Now, wait, I'm not telling you to go out and quit your job. No, what I'm telling you is to take inventory of those things that you've been doing consistently and ask yourself, is this where I'm supposed to be? You see, a lot of times we know that we're not moving in our purpose, but in preference to our own fears and what someone else says we should be doing. So let's pause again, take a quick inventory. Are you blocking your own purpose? Lastly, there's provision in quitting. Stephen Covey, the author of the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, had this illustration, and he had the cylinder, and he had rocks and sand and some small pebbles. And he was in class, and in this illustration, he used the large rocks and the pebbles and the sand to help emulate what our lives are like. And he said to the class, which rocks do I put in first? And they're like, or put in the sand first. So he put in the sand, and then he tried to put the big rocks in and the small rocks, and they didn't fit. And then he dumped all that out in its respective containers. And so he says, so what do I do next? And they said, oh, well, try putting in the little rocks and then putting the sand and then putting the big rocks. Again, it didn't fit. And so he dumped everything back out. And so he asked one more time, what do I do next? And only one person said, try putting the big rocks in. So he did. And he goes, so what next? All the big rocks fit in the cylinder. What next? Put in the little rocks. He did that. And he jiggled the cylinder and the little rocks went into the spaces. And then someone says, now you can pour the sand in. And he did that and everything fit into the cylinder. What was the takeaway from that? And the moral of that illustration was that the main things in your life, you got to figure out how to fit those in your life. The key things that made you made the decision that you put in your life. What are the key things? What are the big rocks in your life? Those go into your life first. Then those small rocks, whatever those are, whatever you deem those to be, they go in next. And then those little things like the sand, the minutia, like going to the grocery store when you can actually call up Instacart or someone to do that for you. That's the sand that goes in last and it fills in those spaces. And that's how you fit all the key things in your life, right? And so what happens is we try to put everything in our lives when we really, and give everything a high priority when we really can't do that. What are the big things what are the big rocks in your life? What are those small pebbles? What are the sand? Take some time to take inventory of what those things are. What I took from that illustration as it relates to me quitting that job is I had to quit assigning everything a priority in my life. I had to quit giving everything a big rock. And we have to quit assigning everything in our lives the same level because it's not. There's some friends that are closer to me than others. And there's some that are big rocks and there's some that are sand. It's just how it is. As I was thinking about my own life, I thought about how many vision boards I have upstairs. And when I look at those vision boards, which are basically now large fans, there are some things on there I was carrying from vision board to vision board to vision board. There were more wishes and dreams than really visions, right? It was a nice to have. It was a good idea. It was something that I really thought about, but I knew I was never going to do, never going to fit, because it didn't fit my purpose. It was just taking up space. It had no power. One thing that was on those vision boards were how I envisioned my career. And my current circumstance was the antithesis of that. So I had to quit. And in quitting that, I made room or provision for my real vision, for the real vision board of my life. I was making room for my vision and for my focus. See, a lot of times we look at quitting like, they're done, they're broken. That's all for them. It's all, folks. They just quit. They just flatlined. But when you release something, you're making ready for something else. When you release something, the provision that is provided, or that I saw in quitting, was that it not only opened me up to the next possibilities, but I was able to direct my time and energy and focus to what was important for me. There was a monetary provision, of course, but it also provided me an area where I could actualize the gifts and talents and strengths fully that I had been fortunate to acquire. It provided me the right soil for my growth. This is a major provision for me. So you can look at things that you're taking inventory of right now as I speak, of what do I need to quit doing? What do I need to open up and release for provision to come in? What do I need to quit? Think about it in terms of what's the power of quitting here. What's the purpose of quitting? What was the purpose of me quitting? What's the provision of what I'm going to get for quitting? Louis Smith has this quote, and it says, "You can't reach for anything new if your hands are still full of yesterday's junk." When we quit, it gives us the provision of being able to help get that which God has for us. It helps us when we quit. It helps us and allows us the provision of peace. I know it did for me. The provision of knowing that I'm going to show up and be my true, authentic self. And that in itself gives you such energy and great power. It's just almost indescribable. So as I sit here and think about what would be my takeaway, what would be my takeaway for you for this call to action? That is, take inventory of the things you're doing right now and every day. Think about what you need to quit. I'm not telling you to quit your husband or your wife or anything like that. So get that straight. Don't come back to ER and say that lady told me to do this and I did it and this is what happened. Disclaimer. No, take a real inventory of your life, of the things in your life, those things that are little rocks, those things that are big rocks, those things that are sand. If you need to redistribute that, then you do that for you. Put them in the proper perspective. And some things you may start quitting or releasing just automatically. Allow me to emphasize this. Quitting is not easy. Your mind and the voices around you will assault your decision. It's going to take consistency, fortitude, resilience, and a whole lot of strength. Quitting those things that have been our comforts is very, very difficult. You have to push through all of that to get to the power, the purpose, and the provision of your life. Osai Osar Imokpe, in her book, Impossible is Stupid, says this: quitting is not giving up. It's choosing to focus your attention on something more important. Quitting is not losing confidence. It's realizing that there are more valuable ways for you to spend your time. Quitting is not making excuses. It's learning to be more productive, efficient, and effective instead. Quitting is letting go of things or people that are sucking the life out of you so you can do more things that will bring you strength. So you see, there's power in quitting. There's purpose in quitting, and there's provision in quitting. So take a moment today to think about those things that you're doing or have been doing, or the people and the circles in which you've been entertaining that you really need to quit. And in that, I hope that you find your power. In that, I hope that you find your purpose. And in that, I hope that you find your provision. And I hope that you see how quitting is your secret to true success. I'm B. Jacqueline Jeter, transformational growth strategist and owner of Grow, Lead, and Prosper. You can follow me on Facebook or IG at B. Jacqueline Jeter, or at the same locations, Facebook and IG, you can follow me at Grow, Lead, and Prosper. You can also link with me via my website at www.growleadandprosper.com. And again, remember, there's some things that you need to quit so you can find your power, your purpose, and your provision.
Hi guys, Adila Curry here, and today I'm going to be sharing with you 3 secrets to master the metaphysics of marketing. I've been an entrepreneur for over 20 years and I've learned a few secrets along the way. One of the main things that I've learned as a marketing consultant for the last 10 years is that it's an easier way to be able to align yourself with who you truly are and attract the customers, the clients, and the audience that you're meant to serve. And I'm going to be sharing those secrets with you today. So let's get started. Hi guys, Adila here. So today I'm going to be sharing with you, as I said earlier, the 3 secrets to master the metaphysics of marketing. I truly believe that entrepreneurs can and will change the world. But the thing is, lasting change in any area, it requires a few things, right? It requires passion. It requires focus, resiliency, commitment, understanding, grit, clarity, willpower, determination, and many others. And I had to really dig deep to find those things 10 years ago when I really had to change and pivot my life. See, I lost everything in the crash of 2008, including an opportunity to be on season 1 of Shark Tank at 26 years old. I had developed a patent pending product at the age of 24. And what you see in front of you is an email inviting me to this new reality show called Shark Tank. But what they did not know was that I was homeless, pregnant, and suicidal. I had just ended an engagement. I had just left a really toxic relationship, and I was on the brink of suicide. The pictures that you see in front of you are me at a homeless shelter. I made some really strong friendships and relationships, lifelong relationships that I built with some of the women that were there at the shelter with me. And on the right, I was actually celebrating my baby shower there at the homeless shelter. And during that time, my water actually broke in the bed of that homeless shelter on Christmas Eve. My son was born December the 24th, 2009. And I spent Christmas Day 2009 in the bed of a hospital with a strange nurse taking our first photo. And at that moment, you know, it was one of the lowest moments of my life. I'm sure many of you have had those low moments where, you know, you really don't know where to go. You really don't know where to turn. And I had nowhere else to go but within. I have come from a childhood of trauma, a lot of physical, sexual abuse, mental abuse. And I didn't really feel that I had a safe place to go home to or go back to, or that support system that I could trust. So I really had nowhere else to go but within. And I started studying metaphysics about it's been over 20 years ago when I was 10 years old. And I had picked it up and put it down. And I'll share with you in just a moment what metaphysics is. But I really started to devour the ancient science of self-study. I meditated, I cried, I prayed during my stay at the homeless shelter. And, you know, my intuition just really led me to go within and to start really delving into self-study and answering those big questions like, why am I here? Why are these things happening? What's going on? And during that time, there's an ancient African proverb that really resonated with me. It goes, the kingdom of heaven is within you, and whosoever shall know himself shall find it. And I really held that close as I was doing this self-study and using these different self-study tools like numerology, personology, astronomy, astrology. There's so many out there. But the one that I picked to study really, really shifted my perspective on everything, and my entire life made sense in an instant. I was able to really go through like this long report about my life, my strengths, weaknesses, challenges, why certain things happened to me in my life. And in the pages of this unique, I call it like a life map. For me, I found this talent profile, and I have a 20-year background, over 20-year background in real estate. I got my Florida real estate license when I was 19. And real estate had always been challenging for me. It was always really stressful, overwhelming, had to work really hard to see success. And it was just challenging. It felt like an uphill battle. And then I found in my talent profile that real estate was one of the areas where I had one of the lowest levels of talent. And then what I did, I found out that I had other areas where I had more talent. Right before I retired from real estate sales, I had managed a branch office of about 8 to 10 agents. And I really fell in love with being able to help the agents build their businesses, develop their marketing and advertising. And I would always get feedback like, oh, you're so good at marketing. You're so good at advertising. You should really get into this. And I kind of dismissed that, you know, because it came so easily to me. But the reason why it became or came to me very easily was because I had a natural talent in that area. So what I did is I started studying and I doubled down and leveraged my talent. So advertising, marketing, I had a talent in media and communication, writing. I've not yet leveraged my talent in acting, but I think I've been able to use that talent to speak and articulate myself in certain instances and communicate ideas with individuals and groups of people. And also my lifelong fascination with metaphysics was confirmed. I had an extreme talent in math, physics, and astronomy. It's actually off the charts here. And I was like, oh, wow, that's why I've always been deeply fascinated with these some say complex subjects, but for me, they're fascinating. And so I started leveraging, I pivoted from my background. I was able to combine the two, my experience in real estate and my natural talent in marketing and advertising. And I was able to rebuild my life. I was able to start a digital marketing company. I started working with clients and customers and getting really great feedback. And I was able to really shift and pivot and start building a successful career. And today, my mission is to impact 1 million lives by helping entrepreneurs align with their true purpose and get their gift and message out to the world. And so now I'm going to talk to you a little bit about metaphysics, what it is. It's a field of science and philosophy. The study of basic structures and categories of what exists or of reality is the definition of what metaphysics is. And its purpose is to reach beyond nature and discover the true nature of things, their ultimate essence and reason for being. So it really talks about going beyond the physical, really connecting on a deeper level, an energetic level, a level that's beyond the physical. And marketing, as defined by the American Marketing Association, marketing is the activity, set of institutions and processes for creating communication, delivering and exchanging offerings that have value for customers, clients, partners, and society at large. So even if you're not an entrepreneur, maybe you're someone in the nonprofit space, or you want to have community impact, these secrets, these tool strategies can be useful for you as well. So the 3 secrets to master the metaphysics of marketing. Number 1, gain alignment with your assignment. Gain clarity and alignment on who you are and who you serve. Number 2, I'm going to be going over the 3 P's of mastering your message. Pivot, perform, and produce online by mastering your message. So we're going to be going over how to do this shortly. And number 3, I'm going to be going over the 3 S's of selling. Serve, share, and solve. Learn how to serve, share, and solve, and let the selling take care of itself. So gaining alignment with your assignment, it's really important to gain alignment and clarity on who you are at your core, your life path, your heart's desire, challenges, life lessons, innate strengths, talents, and abilities. Align who you are at your core with how you can best share your gifts to find out who can benefit from them the most in order to maximize fulfillment, happiness, and success in your life and business. And this really speaks to that component of self-study and getting clear on who you are and what your strengths, talents, and abilities are. So asking these 3 questions: who am I at my core? How can I best share my gifts with the world? And who can benefit from my gifts the most? Now, moving on to the 3 P's of mastering your message. Pivot, perform, and produce. So number 1 is pivoting from survival into developing deep self-awareness to communicate your message from a place of true alignment and authenticity. A lot of times, as adults, we go through life just surviving. We've got bills to pay, we've got kids to feed, we got to keep a roof over our heads. So we focus on surviving, but we're really not gaining a deeper alignment of self-awareness so that we can be fulfilled. So that's number 1. Number 2 is using your key performance indicators. So if you're an entrepreneur and you're doing business, these are called KPIs. Using your key performance indicators to measure and track your marketing success. So your revenue, your profit, your client retention, etc. So by implementing these tools and then using these key performance indicators to measure and track your success is really going to be self-evident. You'll be able to see the shift in your business and what you do by implementing these things. Number 3, produce better content and results for your audience. The proof will be self-evident and visible in your business's success. So being able to produce content that really resonates with who you are and who you serve. And those are the 3 P's of mastering your message. Now, we're moving on to the 3 components of effective selling: serve, share, and solve. So number 1, you want to find out how you can best serve your audience first. What do they need help with the most? Number 2, share your knowledge online. Sharing is caring. It shows that you're an expert and that you actually care. When people are looking for answers and you're providing those answers, they're going to find you. A lot of times when people, and we call it the customer journey in marketing, when people are looking for something, they become aware of a need or a want, they're going to go online and they're going to start Googling, they're going to start doing research. And you want to be out there, you want to show up, you want to be sharing your knowledge online. So those people that are looking for answers, that are looking for your product, your service, your message, they can find you. And then lastly, solve. Ask how you can best solve your audience's problems. What can you offer
that will provide solutions. And this is your offer. So being able to tie these three things together, serve, share, and solve, really allows you to have a result of effectively selling whatever your offer is. You don't even have to worry about selling at this point, because that level of alignment, that level of service, sharing, and solving really is going to attract your audience, your clients, and customers to you. And the selling is going to take care of itself. Let's see here. Okay. So now that I've shared my 3 secrets with you, I do have a gift for you. We're actually doing a 100K digital marketing giveaway. Like I said, I've been able to find a lot of success in what I've done in using these 3 secrets as an entrepreneur. And so we're giving away a lead generation funnel. And this is so important if you're doing business online, if you're pivoting from a brick and mortar business, or you're just an entrepreneur and you haven't really figured out how to leverage what you do, how to leverage online marketing and start generating leads and sales for yourself. So we're gifting away this freebie or this bonus, and you're going to be able to automate your lead generation, launch an irresistible offer, implement processes and systems to expand and grow systematically. We're also going to be gifting away our online business toolkit and dashboard. This has a value of $1,800. And this really allows you to manage your entire digital marketing from a single location and a single dashboard. As entrepreneurs, we wear a lot of hats, and being able to juggle all of these products, tools, services, platforms, and then acquire the tech know-how to tie it all together, it's really difficult to keep up with. So with this solution, we're able to gift entrepreneurs a social media marketing tool and solution. They're able to schedule and post content on multiple social media platforms. If you don't already have a website, an e-commerce site where you're able to sell your products and services, that's a gift that we offer as well. We also offer email marketing. So you're able to easily build and nurture relationships through email marketing. You're able to also track your advertising results and the investments that you're making in paid advertising. And also you're able to request reviews. So leveraging those wins of the clients and customers that you've already worked with, you're able to do that on autopilot. The next bonus that we have here is one-on-one consulting and group coaching. This is a $1,994 value that we're offering as well. So we're able to help you onboard and really share the vision that you have for your product or service and hold you accountable, and also hold your hand along the way. So that consists of group coaching, the accountability, and we do check-ins just to make sure you are on track. And I'm really happy to be able to share these 3 secrets with you of mastering the metaphysics of marketing. It's truly changed my life. This is a picture of my son and I. So I've been able to homeschool my son the last 10 years and spend a lot of time with him, and also grow a successful business. And I've been able to do all of this through using the secrets that I've shared with you today. And here's some testimonials of what other people are saying, people that have worked with me. And I'd love to be able to help you, work with you if you have needs in that area. So I do have a gift for you today. You can go to digitalmarketinggiveaway.com and enter your information to be able to take advantage of your free gift. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.
Candace Camille. It's time to get up, take a sip of water, push away from the table, take your heels off. We're getting ready to move. The wellologist is here and say it is time to move. It is time to move. Why? Because our health is the first thing and everything else is the next thing. If you have not written that down, now is the time. Say it out loud, say it with me. My health is the first thing and everything else is the next thing, right? So we're going to get a little movement in just to get the juices flowing. One of the things about movement, it brings on focus. It brings on creativity. It kind of get you going. It kind of get you thinking. Like, I got an idea for something that I learned. One of the things as I'm training my clients is all about your mind. See, because you can't get your body tight until you get your mind right, right? Let me say that again. You can't get your body tight until you get your mind right. And you have heard throughout this, as you're building your business, your relationships, your business, your bank, you cannot master your business until you master your body. You cannot master your body until you master your mind. Let me say that again. You can't master your body until you master the mind. So we're going to get this party started right here. So everybody should be up. Get the girls up, stomach in, squeeze the booty cheeks. Listen, nobody have an excuse, right? It doesn't matter if you're 30 years old, if you're 40 years old, 50 years old, if you're 60 plus like me. There's no excuse. Get up and get this done. You know, I always tell folks back then, I was a hot mess, but today I'm hot, right? So y'all know, now let me just change that. I'm sexy, right? As y'all moving with me, right? You are what you think, right? So if you think that you're sexy and you take some action on that feeling, it will come to fruition, right? So again, I was once 223 pounds. So I know what it feels like not to like your body, too tired, you know, don't have enough energy, can't walk up and down the stairs, taking medication, my knees hurt, you know, everything hurt. But you know what? I figured it out. I figured out that if I get up and I just move a little bit, it'll start me on my way to my sexy, fit, and well body. So you got to have a place to start. Right here is the place. Here we go. Come on. Right here. Come on. That's it. Come on. Let's go. Again, girls up, stomach in, hot. Squeeze the booty cheeks. Yes, I was a little chunkish, right? I was 220 pounds. I didn't like the way I feel. I felt like I was carrying around two people, but you know what? I had to get that monkey off my back, right? So I got it off. And you know what? Then I became the wellologist because I now understand that this little thing right here is the very thing that's going to start you to feeling better, to thinking better. And not only that, it just makes you feel sexy, right? Here we go. Come on, let's count. Come on. Come on. That's it. 1, 2, come on. 3, come on. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right here. Come on. Right here. Let's get it. Again, girls up and down. And look, when you march in place, get cute with it. Make everything move, right? You can go to the left, to the right. Come on. Right here. Right? Come on. Come on. Here we go. Come on. Right here. To the side. 2, 3, 4. Dip with it. Come on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right here. 2, 3, 4. Come on back. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right here. Come on. 1, 2. Come on. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 again. 8, 7. Come on. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Punch. 1, 2. Come on. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Squat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come on. 6, 7, 8. 8 more. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take it down. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Again. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Can you touch the floor? 1. Come on. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come on up. Right here. Good. All right. We're almost done, right? Y'all should be breathing a little heavy right here. Inhale and exhale. One of the things about breath, once we
Hello, and thank you so much to E.R. Spalding and the BlackWoman Confidential for this amazing opportunity to grace the stage. So I want to ask you a question. Do you have confidence? Do you believe in you? When was the last time you betted on you? How high is your self-esteem? And what does your personal brand say about who you are? And how does your personal story fit into your bold comeback? Well, let me tell you something. I am Alicia Brooks, who I'm here to talk to you about redefining you for your comeback. So I'm going to discuss 3 things. 1, learn to stop sacrificing yourself for others' happiness. Number 2, 5 keys to redefining who you are for your own comeback. And number 3, giving you 3 tips to building your personal brand and taking it to the next level. So have you gone through a life and feeling like you did not matter? Your feelings didn't matter, your voice didn't matter? Or you just had, a lack of self-confidence, which made me, I'm going to speak about me, which made me play small in life, play small in business, play small in relationships. And I was not living my bigger, bolder version of me. I did not do it. You see, I was the one who had business failure. I've been married 1.5 times. I've been through depression and domestic violence, rape, wanted to commit suicide, not once, but twice. And I truly felt like a failure because I wasn't where I desired to be in my mind, in my heart, and in my spirit, not to mention my bank account. And in relationships, I was choosing the wrong people. I was supposed to have all this stuff done by a certain age. You all know how that is. We have all of our needs and wants and desires we want to have by a certain age, such as a baby, marriage, a beautiful career that we fell in love with, and the money so that we can live the lifestyle that we wanted. But for me, it did not happen fast enough. It happened when I would give up on myself. You see, I know and always knew there was greatness inside of me, that I was brilliant in what I do. But I felt like my voice just did not matter. And my whisper didn't matter either. Because those around me and in my life, they didn't see me. They didn't hear me. They didn't feel me. They let me down. But you know why? Because I let myself down. So I started spiraling down and was like, what in the world am I doing here? I had to say, Alicia, the one who is always positive, the one who empowers others, the one who educates others, the one who engages people on a higher vibration, majority of the time. Majority of the time, you wouldn't even see me sad, depressed, or any of that, because I was always positive. But I was beating up on Alicia. I was beating up on myself. You see, I had imposter syndrome. I had that whole comparison thing. And really, I was in a dark place that I did not even like me, much less love me. I don't know if you can relate to that, but I can tell you this. I had to get myself back. I had to get myself back. I had already knew what my purpose and my passion and my destiny was at age 15. My life was not looking that way. You see, I knew at 15 I was called, purposed for women globally. So I never had a small mindset, but I wasn't walking in it. So for me, feeling sorry for myself and trying to figure things out, I literally had to go and totally clear my mind, clear my heart and my spirit for my comeback. I had to do the work on the inside of me so that I can show up on the outside of me and rock my own personal brand the way I'm supposed to do it, and to walk in a bigger, bolder life than I have been playing. So what did I do? I worked really hard on my mindset, my network. I rid myself of all the negative people in my life who did not serve my spirit well, nor did they celebrate me or even with me. I quickly learned those people who were around me just to get something, because I knew and still know I am daggone brilliant at what I do. I just did not have the right people around me and the right tools in my life at that particular time to make it happen. I knew in my heart how I wanted to show up in life and in this world to be myself. But when I changed, and I'd say changed, I totally changed, shifted my mindset, where I started manifesting and meditating on what I truly wanted to be in life, how I wanted to show up. When I did that, that changed everything. My life turned around because I truly got committed to me. I got committed to me. I began to invest in Elisha like none other. Spiritually, emotionally, mentally, physically, I got so determined to win and to walk in my boldness in a bigger and unapologetic way, because I was not going to allow anyone else to make me feel small or feel like my voice was snuffed out and I did not matter. I had to take my voice, my power, and my mind back. So what did I do? I'm going to give you some tips. The first thing was learn to stop sacrificing yourself for others' happiness. That was huge for me. Learn to say no. And sometimes, hell no. It is a complete sentence. Standing up for you is number one. Start with true commitment to yourself. What makes you happy? What makes you sad? What makes you have triggers? Because you have to get to a place where you start falling in love with you. I had to get there. Remember, I said I did not like myself, nor did I really love myself. So I had to do all the work to fall in love with me. I had to start choosing me first, which I need you to do. Choose you first. Spend time with you, which means scheduling some sacred time with me on your calendar at least 2-3 times a week, so that you can keep that word to yourself, so that you can start beginning to trust yourself. Because when you keep a commitment to yourself, that brings up your self-confidence. So I kept my word to myself on my calendar because I wanted to commit to me this time around. There's so many times that I truly, oh, I'll do it later. Oh, that's just about me. I didn't choose me first. So I had to get committed to making time for me, to get clear on who I was, what my dreams and aspirations and goals are, and knowing that my voice matters, my purpose matters, that I could no longer stay playing small. And number 2, I want to give you 5 keys to redefining who you are for your comeback. So number 1 is you got to meditate and manifest at least 30 minutes a day, so that you can receive clarity on who you are and what you really want to do in your spirit. And you cannot do that until you quiet the noise, to truly get with yourself and quiet the noise. Secondly, I want you to get a pretty journal, one that you fall in love with, because that is where you're going to write in detail how you see yourself showing up in life in every area of your life. I want you to be totally detailed. Visualize it. What are you wearing? What kind of perfume do you have? Everything. I want it to be so detailed so that you can see it, because your mind has to get there first before you get there in your life. So I want you to get a gorgeous, pretty journal so that you can be clear on who you are and how you want to show up. Thirdly, I want you to forgive yourself. Forgive yourself from the past. And that also means forgiving others, those who have not taken you seriously. Because you can't walk boldly and bigger in your life as who you are until you allow yourself to forgive. Forgiving does not necessarily mean that you forgive them totally of what they did was not wrong, because it was wrong, if that's your perception. But I want you to forgive yourself and them, because that is where the healing starts. I had to do that. Was that easy? Absolutely not. But I know now, if somebody does, and I get offended, I truly forgive quickly, because I don't want that staying in my heart and in my spirit. So I forgive quickly. That doesn't mean I forget. It just means I forgive, so I don't hold on to that offense. Because if you hold on to an offense, that offense becomes a thought, and that thought becomes feelings. And we all know manifestation is all about your feelings. So I didn't want to hold on to the feelings, because if I held on to those feelings, all I would do was think about it and attract those people and things in my life that validated those offenses and those thoughts and those feelings. And I did not want to hold that. So I had to forgive quickly. That's a big life lesson for me. Fourthly, we all have girlfriends. We have sister friends. We have the church. But I need you to get therapy if you need it. Therapy is not a bad thing. Therapy is self-love, because you need to rid yourself of all the hurt and the pain, your own hurt and pain, from everything, every single thing that is holding you back. Get all the people out of your life who is not celebrating you, who is not pouring into you. You have to get with somebody who has an objective thought process, who can help you walk through that. Our friends and our family, they see the good. They want us to be well, but they can't see it from the outside. They're too close, so they only have their perspective. So getting a therapist really does help. And then fifthly, I want you to put into action, which means writing it down, who, the what, the how, the where, in full detail of what it would be like to be your biggest and boldest self. What do you really need in order to get there? Is it a team? Is it someone in your life, a mentor, who can show you how to make it happen? I hope I'm helping you some type of way. The third thing is, I want to give you 3 tips to building your personal brand and taking it to the next level. So number 1 is, you have to define, design, and redefine sometimes your personal brand. That means getting a personal brand strategist, myself, who can walk you through and take you through the steps that you need to truly transform who you are into who you want to be, so that you can show up in the world and rock your personal brand. Secondly, my 8 M's, which are One, your mindset. Two, you got to have a mission. Three, you must have a message. Four is mastery. You got to master yourself. You got to master your thoughts. You got to master your true inner being, your intellectual properties, because that is what's going to take you to the next. Of course, you have to have a methodology. What is the science behind? What's the place behind? What's going to get you there? You need a plan, so a methodology. Then you must have a makeover, because your makeover says, I can't no longer be the old person, the old version I was. So you need a makeover so that you can become and walk into the woman you have transformed to be a bigger and bolder you. So that makeover is key. Then you got to be memorable. What's going to make you memorable? Your story, for one, but your makeover. Your makeover is memorable because you are you're ridding yourself of all the old, all the old, and you're becoming, and you are the new. So you become memorable, and people will watch your story. Trust me. And then with all of those comes your money. When you've mastered all of those comes your money. All of these are needed in order to develop a truly live and level up your personal brand. And then thirdly, you gotta show up. You have to invest in yourself. You have to invest in yourself, your brand, and your next level. Because you can only go as far as your self-esteem and your confidence allows you to. So you got to invest in you, whether that's a coach, whether that's a new wardrobe, whether that's some new pick, whatever that is, you got to invest in yourself. Aren't you worth it? Absolutely, I think you're worth it. I know I'm worth it. But the return on investment is based on how much you invest in you. You have to learn to invest in yourself. Think of an investment and not a cost. You're not a cost. You're an investment into your value, into your destiny, into your dreams. So you got to take your voice off of mute and your purpose off pause so that you can live and walk and be a bigger, bolder you unapologetically. That is number 3. So what did I say? I said a whole lot. I hope you caught it. But let me just go over a little quickly. 1, you got to learn to stop sacrificing your happiness for others. Saying no, and sometimes hell no. Taking a true commitment to yourself and falling in love with you. Making it a sacred time for me on your calendar, at least 2-3 times a week, so that you can be committed to you and keeping your word to you. You need to learn how to manifest and meditate at least 30 minutes a day. Get clear. Get away from the clutter and the noise. Write down in detail how you want to see your life manifest. Visualize it clearly. Forgive yourself and forgive others because it's necessary. Yes, get a therapist because a therapist is going to take you and get rid of all the old baggage that you're holding on to. Then I want you to put it into action. Take action. The next steps into taking your personal brand to the next level is developing, defining, designing, and sometimes redefining your personal brand, which means getting a personal brand strategist. Learn what the 8 M's are. Your mindset, your mission, your message, your mastery, your methodology, your makeover, memorable. You gotta be memorable so that all equals your money. And then you wanna show up, invest in you, honey, so that you can take your brand, your life, your lifestyle to the next level. That's a quick recap for you. But if you know you need to get confidence, get it back, rebuild who you are, build your personal brand, define what your personal brand is that speaks to the core of who you are so that you can walk boldly and unapologetically in your own brandique brilliance. I would love to connect with you. You can go to Brand Her Essence and or my social media at Elisha Brooks or Brandique You. The time is now, my darling sis, the time is now. The world is waiting on you to push your dreams out, to bring your ideas to fruition. The time is now. So I want you to bet on you because this is the year, this is the time for you to do it. Go be, live for your brand.